looking to build a little small mini sort of small channel destination for politics, religion, whatever you guys want to actually discuss. And yeah, I'm excited to be here. I figured since we're gonna have people from all over the world at this time, it's about 11 p.m. Arizona. So yeah, who knows? People on internet time on the East Coast, shout out to you guys, and people over in Europe. Whoops, there's the double audio. People over in Europe, people in the Middle East, people in Asia, shout out to you guys. Um, and yeah, I'm gonna put a little poll up. I'm gonna pull up with a little poll. Let's say. Mm, uh, and yeah, so so hopefully we get some people in, and yeah, I don't know if you guys want to talk religion stuff, that'd be cool. Yeah, I mean, I've led every stream with politics in the last like month, and so it'd be cool to talk about just like, hey, straight up, why are we still talking about like Islamic society in the West? Why are there still these stupid debates about which religion, Christian is better than Islam and stuff like this? I don't know. I wanted to bring it up. People seem to get extra mad in the West about Iran having a military like every other country. They've never standardized based on like Iranians' actual military spend. And so who knows? I certainly don't think a theocratic government is like long term going to be our best buddies, but best buddies is also not the way to really like think about that either, right? Best buddies isn't just, it just isn't that. And so, yeah, who knows? Maybe shout out if there's any folks that come in that are Taoists, Confucian, Shinto, any of those kind of cool religions. Shout out to you guys. I want to talk to you, have a conversation. Maybe you guys can convince me to not be an atheist. Whatever, the most popular global religions on earth. Um, People would say, there is a place for Buddhism to talk about Christianity. Hey, Austin, good to see you, brother. We got the brother Austin. We got brother Austin in chat. Austin recently converted to Hinduism. So Austin, so shout out to you guys if we got folks tuning in from Delhi, Bangalore, anywhere. Who knows? Maybe Bangladesh. Austin will argue Hinduism and Islam with you guys. And yeah, Austin used to be a Christian. Really nice guy. Austin's huge. He's got 17-inch biceps too. So he's a nice guy to talk to about religion. Yeah, but I'm sick of it getting in the way of politics. I'm sick of it getting in the way of peaceful people having conversations. And I'd rather just get converted and get it done with, right? I'm okay being, alhamdulillah, I'll be a little bit, Muslim, shout out to you guys, and yeah, Islam is a very cool religion in some contexts, right? Just the social, maybe not, I wouldn't say personally, because I'm an atheist, so I wouldn't say the social or political version, those, precepts, I would be really confused in some contexts, but, but like once that's clear, it's like, yeah, Islam is a cool religion. The Quran and Surah has, in my opinion, some better writing than the Bible, than the Old Testament. And so even as a Western American, hey, what's going on, Big Arms? We got the biggest dude on YouTube. We got the big, I don't know if you guys know the big sexy. He used to wrestle back at the WWC and WWF. But yeah, Big Arms is up there. He could be on a wrestling mat. So shout out to you. Good to see you. We got God King Snow. What's up, Reverted? What up? What up? And LC Gamer Goat. Hey, and goodbye and adios. Peace, peace, peace. Yeah, and if you guys want to drop any thoughts about what happened to Neanderthals? Well, there's a question, brother. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Who knows? Some people say Neanderthals were hunted to death by by some of the Homo erectus bloodline. And so it's an interesting story, right? There's an interesting version of like either divergent or convergent evolution that happened. This is an interesting point. Is some of the stories in evolution, while evolution is a great theory, some of the stories are narratives, right? Because it's not the actual physical self, right? You can picture Neanderthals spreading the germline, just like other species, just like a flower blossoms, a seed falls, you get new plants. Humans run around, poop, procreate, all this stuff. Sorry. But yeah, some of the stories in evolution, while they're basically true and there's lots of variables and data to support them, they're still stories, right? They're not about the DNA. They're not about the actual event and sort of biological significance. But yeah, some people believe Neanderthals were hunted to death. The One of the things that Homo erectus became really good at was also traveling really far, and so yeah, my understanding is Neanderthals also did have some of the sort of older traits, thick necks, sort of forward set heads. So it may have just been possible as well that Neanderthals were also less resilient or less social. So humans develop frontal lobes, prefrontal cortexes. Humans develop all of these traits and capabilities. An angular gyrus is a region of the brain to promote language, and then our spatial, our temporal lobes and stuff at the back of our head. Some of the stuff that helps us a little bit with thinking, with awareness of our environment. These things develop and evolve to give us the ability to be social. Hey, shout out Georgia, the country, not the state. Hey, cool. Shout out to you in Georgia. Very cool. Um, I'm great. Good to see you again. Cool. Yeah, I'm good too. And yeah, hopefully you're well. I hope you're good and I hope you're well. Cool. And yeah, and so this evolutionary story is that, we develop this ability to be social and stuff like this. And this may have led to social hunting behavior to ultimately exterminate the Neanderthals. It may have just been also that there are other competitive advantages and things like this that probably compounded or met other factors of aggression in the environment. And so, yeah, the Neanderthal germline just runs into a dead end and they are no more. And so, obviously, shout out to our ancestors, Moana, our ancestors, shout out to all that. Um, hey, I don't claim to be an expert, right? Obviously, you guys want to listen to experts on this stuff. But as far as I was aware, you guys can fix the topics. We don't have to talk about religion, but I do get to talk a little bit, right? I do get to talk a little bit. Even though Buddhism itself might have a lot of practical principles and guidelines and so on, people forget that Buddhism is full of miracle stories and some of the most miraculous, even though Buddhism doesn't have a creator God. Um, Yeah, I mean Buddhism, as far as I'm aware, doesn't necessarily. So the most important precept in Buddhism is that mind precedes all, and this is both a metaphysical as well as an epistemic sort of question, right? And yeah, and so I'm not going to go and do like apologetics for Buddhism, but you might look at miracle stories or supernatural occurrences. You might look at things that apparently live in the realm of form, desire, or emptiness. These things that can be of something and of something else and things like this. But yeah, if we're talking about miracles, it's breaking that, a hand, like a very common example might be a hand grabs something. And so if you could grab like the disease out of someone, this would be a miracle. This would be supernatural or a miracle. I'm not saying that happened in Buddhism, but just as an example, a Buddhist might also ask, well, how do you know that a hand is meant to grab something like a disease? Or how do you know what a hand is meant to grab? What can a hand grab? When has it grabbed that? And is your mind in sort of the correct space to ask those types of questions about either biology, right? Buddhism isn't pseudoscientific. It doesn't ask for you to adopt pseudoscientific views. And so when our mind is preceding some of these ideas, it may be the case that we come up with a fact that's neither satisfactory or unsatisfactory, but it certainly just is that way. It couldn't be any other way, in the sense that we thought about it, that a mind settles on it, and that's as far as it goes. Um, yeah, and so a lot of these perennial ideas in religion. This came up yesterday when we're talking about connecting to longer truths. Sometimes we seek to find forms of wisdom in common happenstance, like what a foot is, or what is it like to have a sip of cold water after not having water for some time. Is it meant to be refreshing? Does everyone think it's refreshing? Should we do it greedily? Or, is there a more detached way of doing it? Is that still greedy to drink that sort of sip of water or something like this? And yeah, I personally feel that Buddhism is well suited to answer these questions, but I also feel that religion applied not to society, not to politics, not to war, not to fighting, not being at war anymore and stuff like this. I believe also that a lot of religions are well suited to answer questions and be like that. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Cool. Jesus loves you. Thank you. I don't agree with any of that stuff. I appreciate the kind wishes. But yeah, I don't know Jesus. And so it's weird. You're not saying, like, if you could say, well, I believe in this guy named Jesus and he loves all people, that's different than saying Jesus loves you, because what you are doing is you're asking me to know this Jesus like you do. And so I disagree with that statement, even though you left the red hearts, and I appreciate that. And yeah, if you can say, instead of Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, you could start a conversation. You could say, I believe Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Right? You're not some arbiter of what the universe is like, unless I've just never met you and you are in fact preaching to me about God while you are God. That doesn't seem to be the case. Um, Sure, sure. And I mean, I think Buddhism is also amenable to like categorical thought. Why not, right? And so let's just say I was talking to a Buddhist. I could say in Buddhism or something, I could say, well, you do know that humans are animals, we evolved, and we just have this social machinery. It lets us do abstract things like math in a way that's very clear to some people. It allows us to use our imaginations to dream about things in different ways. But then it's so if it's a social animal on top, it's pretty much an animal underneath. And I don't think that would be a problem in Buddhism, right? Buddhism doesn't ask you to think that we're Stanley comic book characters. And neither do a lot of religions, but a lot of religions don't necessarily have a way that would enter the conversation. That would be a social conversation, right? It's my opinion. I don't think in Islam, shout out to you guys if there's any Muslims in the chat. I don't think Islam would ask you to consider that, yeah, we're social animals. We're animals, and we happen to have this social machinery. And that's pretty important, right? When you're deciding what you believe, knowing that you want a smartphone, knowing that you also want maybe a juicy looking, tasting, mouth-watering hamburger while you're thinking about getting that smartphone. The two go hand in hand. And they're not irreplaceable, but they're worth pursuing for sure. You can be discerning about both of those things, right? That is, Buddhism wouldn't reject that this is what a human is like. A human, you wake up on a Tuesday, that's just what a human is like. Um, uh, I don't know what I was overthinking. If I'm over talking you guys, I don't mean to be over talking anyone either. I don't think I'm overthinking though, but I appreciate that prescription. Or question, but I don't see it as a question, right? It is a prescription on social media here. Are you Jewish, or is it just the beard and atheistic remarks? Yeah, I am an atheist and I also have a beard, so those are two good observations. Buddhism is full of pseudoscience too. People of this idea that Buddhism isn't a religion. There are many claims in Buddhism that are inconsistent with reality. There are many claims in Buddhism. Yeah, there probably are. There probably are. I've criticized the polycanons as not being that deep or revealing of a political text. While it is interesting, it definitely contributes something different. But yeah, you could say, hey, this is pretty good compared to some other religious texts at the time. It asks you, compared to Islam or compared to Judaism or Christianity, the Polycanon asks you to consider really deeply these social relationships and the mythology people consider. And so you can say, well, you have the psychological and material constraints of a polity, of a society already, of a political body, a body politic. And yeah, and this could be a curious case of Sanskrit being a very flowy language that has these sort of weird metaphysical attachments, like just as it is. And so Buddhists got lucky. You just happen to write this book, the Polycanon, in a language that happens to cover these political topics in a fairly comprehensive or wide way, even if there's not a ton of depth to it. But yeah, you can criticize. I think why wouldn't you be able to criticize, or in a more, whatever, if someone was like a very devout or sort of doctrinal Buddhist or something, you could probably show doubt and skepticism and also make a stronger argument than I just did to criticize the polycanon. Does that exist everywhere in Islam? Does that exist everywhere in Christianity? Does that exist everywhere in Judaism? It certainly doesn't. There's forms of orthodoxy in all those faiths. Orthodoxy is the enemy of critical thought and free speech. It's also the enemy of actually analyzing a text yourself. Hey man, you timed me out earlier after I made a good point. Why did you do that? Oh, hey, what's up? Good to see you. You weren't, yeah, I didn't feel your points were very good. I felt that you were making personal remarks about your opinion on the Second Amendment after failing to make a point, after failing to make a political argument. And you were complaining. You were complaining, not offering an opinion in a sort of animalistic sense. And your complaint was that you didn't have an argument or a way to form that. So that's why I timed you out. So you had time to go do that. I'm quoting God's word. Can I see your tattoo? Yeah, this says, know thyself. It is a flower, and that's what that looks like. No evolution happened. Rudy throwing shots. No, shut out. Good point. Okay, so evolution never happened. I don't know. No evolution happened. I don't know how that would happen, but I don't know what world that would be in or the frame of reference, what sort of object schema you might have, right? So if I'm talking about genes and genomes, RNA and DNA, proteins, obviously evolution happened in that sense, right? That's the only way to look at DNA is that evolution, the theory, you can rephrase it a million ways, but you're not going to have a more complete or robust idea. It's the most inferential, and you can infer more from it. So evolution is a good idea in all sort of framings. But yeah, sure, if you are talking in the sense of minds, or you're talking in the sense of DNA not being of an animal itself, like we're all on the same tree of life. And so what does it matter if one species makes it versus another, right? So there may be reflections on the evolutionary timeline or other just information you see with your eyes that doesn't support evolution, but that doesn't mean that no evolution happened. It just means there's another way to look at it, right? If you disagree, let me know, but I think you're wrong. Passive aggressive take. Sure, offer it up. Go for it. Hey, it's bedtime for all of us. Hey, see you, Aaron. Have a good sleep. Go to sleep, Aaron. We'll see you tomorrow. Endless rebirth. Endless rebirth. So evolution could still happen in endless rebirth, couldn't it? Wouldn't it be an evolutionary narrative, like something that is both mental, like hylomorphic, it's mental and physical, and it goes alongside then endless rebirth. But you still have these arbitrary moments of time within endless rebirth. And so can you have knowledge of arbitrary moments of time? That's usually what we mean by knowledge. I don't know. I haven't thought about that much, but you could just do whatever you want with your life. Maybe, hey, shut out. Good idea. This guy is ethnically Jewish. I don't know why that's a weird observation, right? Just because I'm on your screen, it feels like you're comfortable opening the door to anti-Semitism versus being curious about my culture or upbringing or anything like that. And you don't actually care if it's true, if I'm Jewish or not. So you could say anything. You could say this guy is ethnically a rodeo clown, or this guy is ethnically 97 feet tall. So I don't understand how that sort of mental phenomenon came about, but I also don't care. I'm done caring. One thing you have to realize about reincarnation and birth is that you basically a reward and punishment you will never get. Islam PDF garbage belief. Yeah, I mean, I love beating up the Quran and Surah as much as the next guy. If we were doing counter apologetics or something, or counter dawah, right? If we were having a debate about the merits of updating my belief system, yeah, there's definitely a point that there's a lot of garbage in the Quran, Surah, and there's a lot of garbage in the Bible. You guys agree or you don't agree? You disagree? I think there just is. And yeah, there's a bunch of garbage. Hey, tribalism. Yeah, that's a cool one. Yeah, tribalism has been based on language, social group, social class, how people look, how they sound, how they talk. Yeah, I'm not a scholar of Indian history, but India is a country that's had a lot of tribalism as well as a lot of class systems that have supported the growth of India to a modern nation state. So some people would say that classism or tribalism has both contained India, right? It's defined Indian nationalism, but it's also yeah, for a lot of people, it's produced a lot of suffering and differentness and stuff like this too. And that's just what that is, right? It doesn't have to be this huge thing people hang on to for every political narrative all the time, but that doesn't reduce the sort of massiveness of like tribalism. Yeah, and absolutely in the United States, Europe, places like this, we see nationalism, which now you could interpret it to be tribalism or identity politics coming from the far right, very radical stuff, very radical political ideas coming from what the West, right? This is why I hate the rhetoric of Western civilizations. Um, you guys maybe do or don't care about this, but whatever, it doesn't matter. But yeah, the radical rhetoric about Western civilization is just complete nonsense. And so if we actually trace this back to Christendom, right, the idea of Christendom, not the idea of like empire and imperialism, but yeah, the Torah and the Old Testament is a flaming hot pile of shit, right? It's a really bad religious text. It's poorly written. It's not good poetry, and it's not about anything. It's really not about anything. And it's scientifically and from a worldview perspective inaccurate. And so is all of Western civilization based on this stupid text? Well, no, but it was population control, right? In the West, it was absolutely population control using the Torah, using the legalistic aspects of Christianity, and owing everything to the church fathers, eventually owing everything to gun, germs, and steel, right? Eventually owing everything to technology and health. Um, and so this really boosted the West. But yeah, when we find ideas of individualism gone wild or individualism emerging, absolutely this it doesn't imply collectivism, but when you attach national identity or you attach the national interest to these radical forms of personal freedom, and they're personal forms of freedom that allow you to start really economic cartel, basically become a drug dealer, but it's the tech industry, or you become a drug dealer, but it's big oil, whatever it is. I mean, it's really bullshit. And so that's my criticism of Western civilization. I'll scroll down a little bit and we'll keep going. He's cool with Muslims, but likes to antagonize Christians. No, I don't like antagonizing Christians. Yeah, John, I mean, you've seen 3 or 4 people come into the chat already and either quote Bible verses or pray for me. There's 11 people here, so I get 4 messages praying for me and offering me Bible verses. If anything, right, if we were settling the street beef, I'll go back and I'll keep telling my version of Christianity if you ask for my counter apologetic. But it seems more like Christians like antagonizing many creators on YouTube. They're judging people, they're disrupting the stream, they're disrupting the audience, and they're not contributing anything to any conversation. Some people are here to chill, to hang out. Some people want me to read their shit, read your username, whatever. Cool. I'm down with all that stuff. But yeah, to come up with a rapid judgment like it's a big deal or something, no, it's not. No, it's not. I've never liked antagonizing people. It's not even in my personality, and now you know. People forget that mythology of karma, which is in Buddhism and Hinduism, is a terrible idea to begin with. Yeah, follow the Dhamma and your karma and stuff like this. Yeah, we could say that. Who knows? I think karma is a good teaching for children and stuff like this. But yeah, to say that something could be karmic, ultimately, if you escape this sort of egotistical or self view of it, it may be alluding to a perennial idea of like harmoniousness in the metaphysics of things themselves. And so you can either agree with this or disagree with this, right? Modern physics says that's bullshit. You get a new universe every second, and you have no reason to believe the new things about the new universes each second. And so cool. Yeah, so again, if you're like a doctrinal Buddhist teacher and you want to go chase karma down, yeah, have at it, right? Have at it, and yeah, make it fun. What would you like to do if you received the bad news about your health? What would you do? I would learn what bad news they were sharing about my health and carry on. Both sides are wrong and the same, and you actually don't have to choose. Uh, yeah, yeah. I mean, both sides contribute. I think they both pitch into violence. I don't know um, if we're talking about Christianity and Buddhism or Christianity and Islam or in Judaism. That yeah, there's tons of violent Christian Jews and Muslims. There's tons of people who use religion and nationalism as an excuse to continue to be violent, but really it's their own little fractured psychologies and sick little minds. So who knows? My traps are jacked. Heck yeah, bro. Oh yeah, baby. We're getting jacked together. Yeah. Oops. I'm scrolling down in the chat, guys. Feel free to tag me if you want me to respond to something or whatever. I'm feeling very lonely tonight now. Without a word that can help me. Hey, I'm sorry. Yeah. All I can say is, what would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ear and I'll sing you a song. I would try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get high with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get high with a little help from my friends. Yeah, hopefully you're doing okay. Faith is good for humanity. Cool. That's a really bold statement. You're talking both about humanity and then you're also talking about a neurological function that we all have. So, just as a skeptic, first, I would wonder what you mean by it. And yeah, as a political science dude, when you talk about humanity, my narrow focus on what a society might be or political bodies are like, who knows? Faith is maybe difficult to study, but it's really irrelevant in and of itself, right? That's the political science judgment. And you can kind of intuit why this might be. The judgment is there's actually nothing about faith that is good for a body politic. Maybe you get like higher levels of trust in some societies, or homogenization is easier to sort of look through. But the intuition here is that, yeah, faith produces nothing material. Faith doesn't actually produce any values that are novel. So faith itself is a novelty. It produces novelties, and yeah, at the point where you're talking about personal faith, personal relationships with a God or the all or whatever, or the others, whatever it might be, you're talking about faith in something that's not in front of you and will never be in front of you. That itself is a novelty, right? That's not about the body politic. So political science wouldn't have anything to say about your personal religion, and truthfully would never care about it. Like there would be no reason to even ask about that. But saying like the Christian faith is good for humanity is total bullshit, right? There's literally nothing there. Someone would prepare and do a debate on that, but it's bullshit, right? Just like someone could say, well, Islam is good for society. That's also bullshit, right? Or Judaism is good for society. Once again, it's complete bullshit. Like Islam was not the thing that was pumping water out of the ground for you. And you might say that's too materialistic. And a lot of people would be like, well, it's materialistic. It's not too materialistic. It's just exactly materialistic. Science is the only answer, honestly. Yeah, I've got this green screen. I can find it. I got a bunch of crap in my phone now. I'll show you guys my science green screen really quickly. Is this it? No, that's not it. That's not it. I got a different one. Oh, snap. I lost it. It fell off, guys. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I won't do green screens anymore. Oops. I don't know how that got there. God, no green screens. Okay. Yeah, I had a green screen that said science ain't the be all end all, but boy, look how excited they are. Yeah, there's a lot of deep truths. I think a lot of deep and deeply explorable, sort of interesting things to think about, things that can reframe or shape how we see the world in science. And yeah, so science is the only answer, honestly. Yeah, it's great. I don't personally have a belief that in politics, society, or life you can violate something that science tells you is true. It just doesn't happen. However, it's not meant to be exhausted of all worlds or all reality. Islam was corrupted from the beginning. Do I believe in Jesus? I do not believe in Jesus. Zero Jesus belief. Hey, yeah, I got a couple sneakers, Kathy Heaven. Shout out. Yeah, shout out. The nicest people in the world believe in religion. Cool. I got footage of a UFO today. Don't think I'm sharing it though. Cool. Cool. You want shoes? There's shoes. There's a Kyrie sneaker. There's a Jordan runner, Jordan, and a hiking boot. What about science? Yeah, science is really good, right? Science ain't the be all end all, but boy, look how excited they are. You can practically apply a lot of science and yeah, and stuff like that. Hey, thanks so much for the hundos, bro, hundos. We're just a bunch of state faithless, self-proclaimed genius. I like that. Awesome. UFOs coming into chat. Dude, you look like your brother. I don't know who that is. True Christianity made the world a better place, and science grew because of it. That ain't true. That ain't true. How is that true? You say Christianity wasn't even the religion of the world until the year 300, and then at that point in time they started torturing and killing people, right? So you take over and then you start acting exactly like everyone else. That ain't a false narrative. That ain't propaganda. That's history. Those are things that happened in the world. And then prior to that, the religion that Christianity grew out of was violent. And then prior to that, Roman legal writers would talk about the problems with the scam artists, right? Christians aren't just troublemakers, they're criminals, So whatever you want to say, they were a low social class, and then when they took power, they started killing people. Do you know what that sounds like? It doesn't sound like religion, it sounds like everybody else. And yeah, science, if we start with Isaac Newton, we say Isaac Newton was the first sort of enduring theory, in the world that grew out of the Italian city-states. It grew out of peace and wealth. It didn't grow out of Christianity. I'm a Native American. Oh, shout out Ashton. We got a indigenous homie in the chat. And telling the truth, my people's religion has been stomped on by outsiders for years, and honestly, faith has culture, and without culture, you really miss a lot of stuff. Cool. Yeah, that's a good point. Religion can be subject to oppression, right? And this is different than Donald Trump saying Christians all around the world are oppressed. Because who knows? You might ask in the first place, and I'm obviously not trying to talk over your comment, but you might ask in the first place, like, what is the proper question I should ask about my religion? Should I ask if Jesus, the servant dude, the dude that was the servant guy, should I ask if he actually claimed to be God? Well, maybe not, right? You could maybe if you look around you, you would just see that there's something that is like analogous, right? You would ask, maybe would he talk about injustice that he goes out and spots and sees? Would he talk about things that he doesn't like? Would he talk about how absurd some of it is? Or would he talk about how there's an ordered solution or an ordered way to describe it? Maybe both are true. But yeah. Oh, shout out. Hey, we've got someone from India with Hinduism. Cool. I would like to read more about Hinduism. I know there's deep philosophies which come from India, and are sometimes popular. Hylomorphism is one. There's also interesting views of time that aren't in all Western thought. Western thought thinks about A theory and B theory of time. So Hinduism is very interesting. It's fun to think about and learn and talk about. Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. Electro Swing says, all I'm going to say is God exists and I believe in him. Cool. You can say, I believe God exists too. You're making a declarative. I guess I do that all the time too. But yeah. that's my sort of sense of things with the MAGA Donald Trump Republicans at this time, is that, yeah, you guys want to declare, right, there isn't really an equal footing there. But yeah, I don't believe that God exists. I shared about the two gods people can know earlier in a earlier restream. No, that's Catholics, not Christians. Hey Layla, good to see you. Hey Layla, I don't know if you picked your username, but I'll show you this. You might like this. I got Eric Clapton. There's a little Eric Clapton on my wall. Old school Derek and the Dominoes, and just Eric Clapton himself. But hey, what up, GB? Good to see you. We got GB228. Hopefully you're doing well and having a good night. What are you complaining about? Did you know the Bible speaks about men growing a beard? The VJJs also grow hair. It doesn't make you a man or a believer. Cool. I don't know that I claim to be either of those things, Etta, but thank you. I appreciate the comment. We got the indigenous. Cool. Hey, brother. Cool. Can I talk to you about something? Yeah, go for it. I'm Native American since 18th century. Oh, cool. Shout out to you. Cool. I want to ask you something about religion. All right, Shiesty, go for it. I'm a Buddhist atheist. I'm a Buddhist atheist. I've been seeing a lot of religions believe in one God, like my religion, and they believe there is a God created in the world, so I believe that the world was created, but your opinion is cool. Yeah, I like the Lakotan idea of great mystery. Lakota idea of great mystery, yeah. It's very cool. So the Lakotans believe that the supernatural or God, it encompasses nature, but is also outside of it. And so, it's sort of, it's familiar to Westernisms a little bit, because you still have ideas of connection in nature, right? You would have to have a connection, otherwise there is just not a thing there, or something like that too. But yeah, the theory, it's not a theory, it's a religious belief. But the religious belief is that, yeah, there's just a great mystery, and the great mystery is that which can connect things that aren't obviously connected, right? That's not a mystery. It's not that much of a mystery anymore, at least. Maybe a question, but it's not a mystery, certainly, one would say. And yeah, I'm certainly not a scholar of Lakota great mysteries or whatnot, but that's, one American indigenous belief is that, yeah, you can look down or you can look up, and apparently there's supposed to be a great mystery still there. But yeah, here's a practical question of the Lakota great mystery. If you put your foot on the ground and press down and you feel tension, starts filling up your legs like an hourglass, it starts filling up your leg like a vase or a little bit. Why isn't it the case that the force or the tension could be from someplace else in the universe? Isn't the Earth's rotational momentum supposedly evolutionary connected to physics all over the universe? In some sense, it's not impossible. So when you okay, cool. But if you can't describe that physical connection, or if that's just not totally how the universe works, who knows? Why not a religious faith in the great mystery? If you're allowed to have faith in something and still be considered a rational person, it seems like a very rational, right in front of you question or proof, evidences. Yeah. In the United States, someone's saying that people get robbed of their beliefs. Well, we actually use beliefs to rob people in the United States. There's old ideas like the Protestant ethic from Max Weber. And so there's actual theory. There's actual theory about capitalism success based on Christianity. And so that's robbing other people. But it was also, alongside Calvinism, it was also talking down to people, telling people that, well, you have to be the certain way, or you're poor because you're not the right kind of Christian. You're poor because God didn't choose you to be rich. And so it's certainly talking down to people. It's very materialistic. And it's not only materialistic, it's also very judgmental right away. Like, that is intrinsically what it is. There's not a way to state the religious culture of the United States and Europe without explicitly stating that it's materialistic and judgmental. Jeff Epstein has got racks. Cool. Shout out to you, JEJ. Just know the darkness can't dispel the light, but the light dispels darkness. Cool. Cool. Yeah. Shout out anyone with a political, social identity that sometimes you feel the pressure, stress from. We are an inclusive channel, and so shout out to you guys. Hopefully, some allyship and whatnot. What are your thoughts on? I don't have any thoughts on Vedanta. I don't know enough about it, so I'd have to go research Vedanta and figure out what I can know about that and probably learn from it. That would be cool. It'd probably take some time. Have you researched Islam and read the Quran? I've read a little bit of the Quran. Yeah, I've read the Quran. I got told to go do read and say the Shahada on a Dawa channel, and yeah. I usually think there's easier or better ways to explain world religions than you would learn from a preacher. And part of that is because they correct you and they say, well, you're doing this wrong and you're doing that wrong. And it's just stupid because if you just say, well, you explore Islam by doing Islam with your body, your mind and your body, right? Why wouldn't you just say that? You have epistemic justification in yourself doing Islam in a very like modern sense. There's nothing so unitarian or complete or universal or whole about Allah in the Bible that takes a person out of their epistemology, unless you're like super orthodox, right? I don't know. Okay, that's not true. Oh, let me correct you. Yeah, and let me let you into these boxer briefs, and you can S the D. What do you want to grab dinner? I'm a very nice young man. No, thank you. I'm live streaming right now, so thank you. Appreciate it. All signs point us to being foul bacteria. Cool. I think you're really cool and everything. It's a shame I'm Brazilian and I don't really understand English very well, but I still think you're great. Cool. What happened to Roanoke? What to Croatian? Croatan? I don't know what any of those things are. Do we have the right to believe what we want, though? Religion has caused more damage indeed. The money bag, gonna turn it to the cops. Are you saying that we came from monkeys? That's not what, Rush, you probably know that's not what evolution says, but yeah, sure. We came up with the monkeys. Hey, we're the monkeys. People say we monkey around. All groups recruiting, including atheists. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know what atheist recruiting would be. Yeah, I think it's kind of weird that deconstruction became such a big topic and people started talking about all the damage religion does to your brain and all this bullshit. It's like, no, well, you're probably prior, if you were anything like me before you were an atheist, you were an overweight consumer, right? So you were physically sick, unhealthy, and you were consumptive, right? And yeah, and that's it. And then when you stop doing that, things get better, I guess. But yeah, I definitely agree that religion can cause a lot of harm and damage, right? I would hate to be healthy in a Christian, personally. I'd hate to be healthy in a Muslim. Hate to be healthy in, practicing Judaism. Hate to be practicing Hinduism. Yeah, that's not what religion is in a brain. So it's indoctrination, it's brainwashing yourself, it's forcing yourself to believe stuff. A bunch of nonsense. Yeah, pray as many times as you want. If you want to pray 3 times a day, do that, but you don't have to. After we die, what do you guys think after we die? You guys have a belief of what happens after we die? All right, thank you, Layla. Appreciate it. Hey, we're the monkeys. Jesus loves all of you, and I love you all as well. Cool. Yeah, shout out. Love all you guys too. Each and every one of y'all's. Because if I confess with your mouth and Jesus is Lord, and I believe you in my heart and Jesus in the Lord, you'll be saved. Romans. Yeah, well, you're telling me what to do there, right? Aren't you? Sat and just tried to commune with myself. Yeah, who hasn't, right? Is that called meditation? It's called meditation, or it's something else. You're honing in on something or whatever, I guess. What are your thoughts on the, I don't know what the Anunnaki are. Hey, Jordan, I have no clue what the Anunnaki are. Jesus loves all in your love. No, I'm not. Hey, hey, we're the monkeys. Do, 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 do. All right, so let's look at this stupid Bible verse. Deconstruct it. Because if you confess, so for some reason they've already explained, for some world that you already had to believe, which is someone else's shit. So they start this verse with because. This is what Paul wanted me to read, or Paula. Shout out Paul or Paula. Paul a Streets. If you confess with your mouth, if you confess, and so it's a you and it's a confession, and it's not just the basic here and now relationship people have, but it seems like it's some deep ontological version of a you that they maybe already explained, and a confession. So you got to explain what this is, right? Because if I have to be a you, then this confession has to be a confession that a you does with your mouth. And then, so again, very presumptive, very presumptive. It's a causation that doesn't make any sense in any worldview. Because if you ontologically do this narrowing thing, so this big important thing you have to be, and you do this narrow thing, and you do it with your butt or your mouth, that Jesus is Lord, go fuck yourself, but okay, and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. Believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. I don't believe that. I don't believe any of it. So I just have to say this thing? No, you're already prescribing things, right? It sounds like, well, you confess and believe in your heart that Jesus again. Why? I don't want to do any of that shit. Do you think dreams are related to God? No. What's your opinion on what happens after we die? Nothing. Do I have a PhD? No, I'm very stupid. I don't have a belief. I have experience with a near-death experience. Cool, me too, in 2019, but that's yours. Shout out to you. Wild buddy telling you. Cool, shout out Wild Man. Cool, I've also had an NDE. Shout out to you. Let me see it. Let me see it, buddy. It says if you got an option, good luck, man. I don't actually want to see it. Do you believe in angels? Fuck no. Bunch of bullshit. Yeah. God made us agnostic and delusional. You don't have to be perfect to be a Muslim. Muslims vape, drink, and do all the stuff a person does. We're not perfect. Human beings, what's important is your belief and love for God. Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's very nice. Do you know about Neville Goddard and about Blake, who he quoted constantly? No, I don't know about that. No, I don't know about that. Dinkus, 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 da, dinkus, da, dinkus, dinkus, duck, dinkus, duck. The question is, are you only capable of saying the absolute truth? That's a great question. What would an absolute truth even be? Is it like a 1 + 1 = 2, like something definition, like 1 + 1 = 2, maybe definitionally true, or there may be an axiom, maybe axiomatically true. The axiom that supports these things may be true, or the proof, like who knows? I don't know. You won't understand why it's better to not sway people from their beliefs until you truly lost everything. Yeah, cool. No, that's very silly as well. Yeah, right. I mean, because people like in a society, we either trust inanimate objects or people to be leaders in that society at certain times. So if you're driving to work and you see a Starbucks sign lit up, or yeah, it's a McDonald's thing where the mall's open and so the mall light is on, right? These things, in some sense, we gave these things enormous power to lead us. But there's also a person, right? There's a person who manages us at work, or it's like a mom or a dad. And so, yeah, it's interesting. It's just interesting. Like, in my opinion, not all paths are created equal, but absolutely forcing someone or asking someone to adopt your worldview, your mindset, to adopt basically what is a setup of neurons, a configuration of neurons in your brain because you're some way, is absolutely fucking stupid. This is what Charlie Kirk did his entire life. Um, very pointless politically, very pointless exercise socially as well. Let's pray for Duck's wife's soul. Hey, thanks, Maria. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. What is nothing? Emptiness. What is nothing supposed to be? Nothing is a thing being itself. A thing being itself produces a quality of nothing. And so you can say, well, nothing is just what the thing is. But yeah, if I have a car, so I don't have to use my legs, I don't have a car, I have a not legs, right? That's what my car, one of the properties of my car is not legs. It's not my legs, right? And so what world do I live in where I have a car, but it's not for me to not use my legs to go someplace? Or I don't have a car, I have a go farther or go faster. So I don't have a car, I have a go farther, go faster, no legs. But that's not in a car, right? A car doesn't have a lack of legs, or a car doesn't have a further, it doesn't have any of these things. And so, but if you say that's what a car fucking is, right? That's not Hegel, that's not me defining it, because I've always had legs as far as I can tell, and so have the people who designed the car, right? And that's never going to change in reality. And so to me, what is nothing? A simple way, like a Lacanian way of answering this, sort of like a little psychoanalytic, but it's a little bit about the object, sure, we choose, is well, just what we define the world as has to have these absence of traits. It has to have these absence of traits, otherwise it's incoherent. So no things to me make a lot of sense. The fact that a car could be like a no mobility or something, or it could be like something like that, or a no stationary thing, that seems to make sense. I know it's a little stretchy, but it seems to make sense too. Hey, stay up, friend. Force a smile. Fuck you. Cool. You guys are still gonna be on social media in 5 years talking about other people's bodies. That's hilarious. What have you tried remote viewing or even astro travel? Some crazy stuff comments, better to be neutral and believe or not. I don't know. What's your name? Why don't you put a smile on your full face? And cool. All right. Did we talk about it? Yeah. Why don't you look up Neville? It's pretty wild. His take on the Bible was not about your personal story and not religious the way people think it is. Cool. Jews, Christians, Muslims all believe in the same God. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, I believe it. Palestinians as well. I don't know what Palestinians have to do with anything. I live in a studio. Yeah. I live in a studio, and I like things that are exciting. Has anyone ever told you you look like a done? Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Have you guys seen Training Day? Have you guys seen Training Day? Training Day is pretty cool. Yeah, what was Training Day about? It was about this street cop, part of a drug unit, and he has to learn to deal with the streets and with corruption in the police force and find his own way. He has to find his own way when he's leading with being a cop and himself, and then he's also part of the team still, and he's part of the streets. He's learning to be part of the streets. The hip, the hop, the hip to the hop. The hip, hip, hop to the hippity hop. The hip, the hop, the hippity hop. Yeah, if you guys want to get really thick on movies, I recommend get Netflix for a couple months, watch old network television shows. Man, shows like Parks and Rec used to be really funny. NBC used to make really funny shows. NBC used to make really funny shows. If you learned why your dad watched the dumb shows that your or my dad watched, those are really funny. And yeah. But American network television, it's sort of silly, but it is true that like just some of the stuff that not all of Hollywood produces, but big television stations, not Fox, right? Fox are a bunch of nationalistic murderers, but the shows they produce are pretty funny and pretty cool. Hey, thank you. I'm wearing my purple Michael Scott shirt. Purple Michael Scott. DuckTales. I never actually saw DuckTales. I know my name is Duck, but I don't remember seeing DuckTales. Maybe I did. Maybe I just don't have a memory of it. Sorry, I'm burping and stuff like this. Yeah. Uh, Blitzkrieg is definitely right. Atheism is the best. Hey, what's up, Katie Cat? Good to see you. Shout out. Not in your head. Baywatch. I didn't really like Baywatch. I didn't really watch it. Obviously, Pam Anderson when I was like a 14-year-old kid, and it was like I had a little TV in my room and it was late night. Obviously, Pam Anderson was hot and it was distracting, but I didn't understand the point of a television show really about why would I watch people who work at a beach, right? Isn't that the whole story? That's the whole plot is, okay, you work at a beach. Cool. Cool. There's nothing more to that story. You worked at a beach. And that's not like other things, right? You work in an ever-changing office environment and there's zany characters doing things. Like that was the plot of the British Office and the plot of the American Office. What was it called? The IT Squad, the IT Squad, or the IT team. You've got these crazy zany characters and stuff like this. I played Poppy Playtime Chapter 1 today. I don't know what that is. I've never seen it. I ain't a big gamer, dude. I wish I was. Islam. Hey, shout out to the Muslims in chat. What's up? Peace and love from Arizona, United States. Let's go. Have you ever had bungee jumped or skydived? No, not really. I've gone rock climbing a few times. Wasn't very good at it. I'm a ground dweller. Yeah, I'm not a Neanderthal, but I am a ground dweller. I've got a lot of stuff here. When I look up and I start goal setting, you guys just saw how crazy I looked. Yeah, but I'm supposed to climb up something. I can run up mountains. I can run up hills pretty good. I can run up hills, run up mountains. That's not that hard for me. But I can't really climb stuff. I don't know. I'm not that kind of multi-sport athlete. But yeah, bungee jumping, skydiving, hang gliding. No, those all sound pretty cool though. Those all sound pretty promising. Yeah, television and growing up, cool. That's awesome. Yeah. Have I had psychedelic or mystical experiences? Yeah, the one religious people would understand is I fell under the spirit once when I was 15 or 16 at a Catholic church camp, or it was like 14, 15, whatever. But I deconverted shortly after that still. It is what it is. Yeah. Doesn't compare to living real life, right? Doesn't compare to living real life, in my opinion, having thought systems and neurons that can actually play with ideas versus just some guy tells you to be religious. Yep. Yeah. I'm a unrequited or unrepentant nicotine addict, as it turns out. Yeah, unrequited. Is that right? Yeah. The theme song to DuckTales will never leave my head. Cool. Remember this man, chubby woman are always better than skinny woman. I will die on that hill. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I think if you turn a woman into an object based on her weight already, in a better normative sense, who knows? You're probably missing out on some part of what just a person is. But I get the sentiment. Yeah, guys like voluptuous women, guys like luxurious women. There's like a fetish for it, but that is still a fetish too, right? To me, that's actually 101. That's the hill I would die on, is knowing that even attraction to like it's the typical hourglass shape where guys like you are insanely attracted to, like not insanely, but you just naturally are attracted to like really skinny chicks or whatever it is. But yeah, those are all like fetishizations of people at their core. Yeah, do you know why that is? It's so when you see politicians on stage with their wide backs, politicians are tall, they have their wide backs, and yeah, you've got it doesn't matter if AOC has zero parabonding interest in you, whoever you are, but she has zero interest to parabond with you. She's a sexy Latina or something like this. And so yeah, you fetishize people, so you follow the CEO, you follow the politician, you follow the movie stars, yeah, follow the bouncing red ball. Don't learn it's a fetish. Don't learn why it's a fetish. Don't learn if it's good or bad if it's a fetish. If there is something good or bad about it being a fetish. All this stuff about it being a fetish. Who cares, right? No one cares. You can or you don't have to be that freaky. There's not that shame in it. People can have weird stuff for other stuff, but hey, that's what it is. Bro, what the F are you talking about? You sound like a nub job. I don't know what a nub job is. Real Sinternet is calling me a nub job in blocked messages. I'm not religious, but I've seen the power of God personally in my life and witnessing it in others. Cool. Yeah, I'm glad if you found the power of God compelling. Good for you. Good for you. I think most people should say the power of God they've seen is not convincing. Why? We're in the middle of a great extinction event. So God is here for people, or God cares about enough of people that God's there for people, right? God maybe doesn't care about your every waking minute, but he wants to see you through to your 70 on average, right? You're not chosen to die early. God cares about you on average until you're age 70 or something like this. So, but yeah, that's a pretty inept God to me. God lets man rise to the top of the food pyramid or apparently, apparently it's all this stuff. But we've, in the last 5 or 6 years, the last 2 years of Biden's presidency and since Trump, we've literally killed trillions, not billions, but trillions or quadrillions of animals on Earth. That's not a joke, right? Various life forms. We've killed trillions or quadrillions or more, including bacteria and all this other stuff. And so that's a God that has a power? No, I find it once again unconvincing. I find it unconvincing. Obviously, there should be gratitude for a God that creates life and a God that cares about alleviating suffering. There should be gratitude toward a God who has the wisdom to know the difference in the day to day and even in extraordinary sense. However, there should be extreme skepticism and reproach toward a God that allows that level of suffering and death. Cool. Ask the true God to reveal himself to you. I don't trust a word of you. Would you kill lives to save a billion lives? No. I don't believe there's a utilitarian calculus. I don't know if you're implying utilitarian calculus or you're just offering that moral scenario. I just can't picture a world where that's a practical type of exploration. I cannot picture a world where that is a practical type of exploration to anyone ever. So, whatever. Women demons go into men and vice versa, respectfully. I don't know what that means. Um, Women demons go in men and vice versa, and men put demons in women. It could be. It could be. Yeah. Welcome to like Twitch and gaming streams. You basically celebrate forms of evil to defeat the enemy team and score loot boxes, right? To get DLC content just from gameplay. Um, you know, we're putting demons in our controller or other people or stuff like this. But yeah, that's not an ordered reality. It's not even a form of, let's just say, irrationality, right? Like I want a loot box. I want a loot box, or the game should be better, right? That makes sense. If I have more stuff in the game is better. Meaning that the game itself becomes better. And so the game itself becomes better is this irrational idea. But that doesn't look like playing the game, right? It doesn't look like you're gaming or competing if you just say, well, the game is better. And I know that's irrational, but I know the game's better when I get the loot. So I'm going to go get the loot, right? And so that's some of the irrationality. I was very competitive in video games, so I'm obviously not going to judge. I played a lot of Halo. I was very competitive at Halo. I don't believe in telepathy or premonition. I believe in planning. Nice beard, bro. Yeah, I believe in planning. To goon or not to goon, someone asks. Yeah, go for it. Someone called me a nub. Hey, I have an idea for you to goon to. Somebody called me a nub job and then left. Invincible. Yeah, someone called me a nub job and then left. So maybe that's a good goon topic. Hey, Sandra Lynn, thanks for the flower emoji. Appreciate it. It was very beautiful. I like beautiful stuff too. Rapture will not happen soon. Cool. Saint Mike in the house. Yeah, Saint Mike in the house, in the house, in the house, in the house. Saint Michael. Hey, Saint Michael the Archangel. Cool. Sick, dude. Them and all the rest. In some ways, people make God sound like you kind of sound like a dictator. Cool, maybe. Huh? Why don't you type it again, Ramon? I ain't reading it again. Let me see. Okay, buddy, tell me how many times you have goon this week. I don't know. I didn't know gooning was a word until a long time ago. 8, 9, 7, 15? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. How many Windrose streams have there been this week? How many Windrose streams across combined any platform, any gaming streamers, right? I think you have to go to watch Windrose gameplay. Yeah. Arc Raiders before the reset. Where does my morality come from? Yeah, I think the qualities of things are just apt to be morally analyzed. In the same sense that particles have no reason to be mathematically apt, and yet they are. So why wouldn't it be the case that things are morally apt in just simple ways too, even simple ways? Yeah. Don't no animal should kill for pleasure, right? You shouldn't kill for pleasure. That's something humans understand. That's probably also something that animals understand as well, right? And so like, who knows? It's just weird. It's just weird if we see cooperative behavior in nature. There's actually, this isn't moral philosophy, but you guys, and yeah, I'm gonna have to go to the bookstore or the library with all the super chats you guys sent me. If anyone wants to send super chats, gems, anything like that, super stickers, feel free. Because I do want to get some more books, but this book does talk about morality being grounded just in our pro-social urges, right? So, if bonobos, if monkeys don't commit violence against each other, but take care of each other, we see that behavior duplicated across other species in times and places and ways. That seems like this sort of idea that you're not actually crazy, that there is the ability to have moral agency as well as the ability to reason about morality just in stuff. It's just part of what stuff is and how we relate to things in a very not remarkable way. It don't matter that much. And you can also say, just moral consideration. There's no God. Is murder okay? It's all still relative, right? No, I don't know where that would come from. That's a crazy idea, right? That's something that religious people always say. So I don't know. You gotta wonder when you got the Christians, the Muslims, the Jews are funding, and the Hindus, right? Of course. And then the Confucians, these are the people that are funding militaries all over the world. And then when you get on the internet, your people talk about building tools of destruction, and then like asking people like kind of like a little PDF sort of style question why it's not okay to just murder people, right? That's fucking weird, dude. That's weird. Why wouldn't I as an atheist see this group behavior and then see the group behavior? Where does the basis of our social... I talked about this. It's our angular gyrus, it's our spatial and temporal lobes in our brains, it's our frontal lobe, it's our prefrontal cortex. These are all things that help make social decisions and do sort of this moral or social processing. So the reason that we have society that stays more put than we do oftentimes, right? A lot of people are willing to die alone in a home versus go to war for medical care. There's this old movie called John Q, and John Q is about a father whose son gets sick. He can't afford medical treatment, so the father, for his sick son, goes to war with the hospital, right? Very violent movie. It's a violent movie starring Denzel Washington. Someone brought up Denzel Washington earlier. And yeah, and so, um, yeah, and yeah, it's so why isn't that a story that happens, right? Because there's a lot of things that seem opposed to our beingness to be violent for any reason, right? You got the benefits of a society for 5 years, or you got the benefits of a society for 80 years or 100 years. You got the benefits of being social, no matter who you are for that time period. And so there's never a reason to commit violence in a society. It doesn't change the fact that there are still these antisocial or amoral or immoral facets of things people decide themselves or that have social significance. The context in which they decide them has social significance or something like this. But yeah, didn't Denzel kiss a dude for a movie? I don't know. Denzel's handsome. Hey, see ya. Thanks, Bartholomew. You too. Have a good night. Call upon Jesus. I'll probably not do that. Hey, what's up, random goo? Random goo pie. We got goopy. We got the goopiest gooner in chat. The goopiest gooner of all times in chat. And what's up to you, brother? You're a salesman. Whoa, shout out. You're a salesman. Cool. Sick, bro. Sick, brother. Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. You guys want to party? Are you actually a sales bro? Can you actually sell, bro? Sell me this pen. Sell me this pen. What happened? I don't know gooning was a word until just now. Cool. Word. Ep. Learn something new every day. Huh? Probably not that. What is degeneracy the norm these days? I don't know. What happened? Hey, what happened? What's up? What's good, brother? What do you know? What do you know? What do you know and what do you like? Why is degeneracy from let me know if that worked. Let me know if I'm selling to you, salesman. What do you know and what do you like? Send me $100. There's your free sales coaching. What do you know and what do you like? Take it slow. Pretend I'm not in a rush. Look at them. Now look at us. All my GGs look rich as fuck. Look at them. Now look at us. All my GGs look rich as fuck. Yo, are you guys gonna send me $100 though? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. What would you have to lose by calling? What would you have to lose by calling on Jesus? Yeah. I mean, why don't you just why can't I give you a laundry list of made up mythical characters to call on? Call on a fuzzy pink unicorn, right? Boring philosophy example, but make it worse, right? Why don't you actually make it worse? Call on fluffy pink unicorn man who who has superpowers, but was sitting alongside the school that Donald Trump bombed in Iran. Why don't you do that? Make that decision. Make that choice. Why not? Then you were DEA doctor. Oh, cool. Hey, Pablito. Que hondas to, vato? Que hondas to? What's up, Pablito? Other kind of salesman. Okay, vato. Yeah. Oh, is that what that was? Is that what that was? What's up? Come here, bro. No, I think your salesman was trying to run scams and play games, brother. Play the real game, brother. Hey, right? Do the right thing. Do the right thing. Allah is great. Hey, what's going on? Mathematician, math thickie. We got math thickie. Hey, I love thickies. Allah is great. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum. Meme it, guys. White people saying Salam alaikum. I don't know the rest of it. Yeah, Wagwan too. Not I. A. 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 A, 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 A. Que ondas, que ondas. Ja Yahweh. Hey, what's up? Cool. Hey, I'm down with it. I fuck with it a little bit, bro. Hey, I fuck with it, but let me be real with you. Let me be real with it. I got a lot going on. I got a lot on my plate. I got a lot on my mind, but I got a lot of people that I love. That is Ja, right? Isn't that Ja? Where the fuck was Ja, though? I'm an atheist, bro. Where the fuck was he? Is that right? Where was he, dude? Where was he my entire life? What was I supposed to do? Supposed to be a Hollywood actor? I can't go to Hollywood. I can't afford to leave. Why can't I afford to leave now? I was trying to afford to leave. Go on then, right? Whatever. Why can't we talk about our religion? You guys can talk about your religion. Why is Islam the only religion that isn't capitalized in the title? Oh, it's not? I'm sorry. Where is it? Smiling until we stop talking about Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. I don't know. Shouldn't have been. You guys love yourselves? Wag one. You want Avery says, do I want some shum? I don't know, Carrot Top? What are you even talking about? What? What? Skipping right to the end, bro. Skipping right to the end, bro. Chicker, bro, or person. Nobody gives a fuck, dude. Hey, I don't even know. What's up with that, though? Hey, the title's Let's Stop Talking About Religions. I can't remember what examples you put. Yeah. Hey, it's Joe Cool. Mm. 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 No, talk about religion, but do you want to talk about religion in the context of politics? Who or what are we talking about religion with? I'm sick of it. Isn't this social media? Right? How often, it's right. It's everywhere in the world. It's literally everywhere in the world, and everywhere that it isn't in the world is something else. And cool, that sucks. It's saddening. It's bad, but it is there. It's complete. Plagiarisms of a plagiarism of some horrific nonsense. Hey, what's up, Hank to Tank? GG. All my Hanks is rich as fuck. King, you're hot. I'm hiding in your room when you're coming to bed. Okay, thanks, Avery. That's enough. Cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. That ain't kingly. That's not what I was saying. I didn't believe that's what I was saying. I didn't believe that's what I was actually saying, right? I would believe I was saying something else pretty dramatically, but okay. Cool. Why would I take advantage of that? Don't Hollywood actors have to be handsome and charming? Says Joe Cool. Yeah. I'll mention it one more time. If anyone wants to send super stickers, send some super stickers. We have memberships available on the channel. Because I know you like hanging out here. You guys like gooning here, whatever it is. That's not what I'm doing here, but okay. All right. 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 Don't waste your time on me. You're already the voice inside my head. I miss you. Where are you? And I'm so sorry. I cannot sleep. I cannot dream tonight. And I need someone, and always. This sick, strange darkness comes creeping down, so haunting every time. And as I stared, I counted the webs from all the spiders, catching things and eating their insides, like an indecision to call you and hear your voice of reason Will you come home and stop this pain tonight? Stop this pain tonight. Don't waste your time on me. You're already the voice inside my head. And don't waste your time on me. You're already the voice inside my head. Where are you? And I'm so sorry. I cannot sleep. I cannot dream tonight. Yes, I need someone in all ways. And this sick, strange darkness comes creeping on, so haunting every time. And in my bed, I counted the webs from all the spiders, catching things and eating their insides. I don't know. One, two, three, most deaf and Talib Kweli. We came to bring it to the party, all the way from the hip hop. Oh, I, oh, oh. I said, oh, 1, 2, 3. We will always shine eternally. And we came into the do the hip hop. Oh, I clap with the beat drop. Oh, I, oh. Hell yeah, brother. That's pretty sick. A 1, 2, 3, a most deaf and Talib Kweli. We came to bring it up into the party, all the way into hip hop. Oh, I said a 1, 2, 3. You know we shine eternally. Let them know, brother. You make a bundim. Yeah, make a bundim. Oh, I shot the sheriff. Oh, but I did not shoot the deputy. Yes, I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy. Hey, Psalms, I don't know Psalms, man. What you know about the Bible? What you know about them Bible there? What you think? What you think, brother? You know? Is that right? Yeah, man. Winston Churchill said success is not final, failure not fatal. Oh, the courage to continue that counts. Okay, Pablito, I know about that. You gotta keep the count, brother. Okay, Pablito. Go. Oh, what's up, Rasfan says, what's up, good? Hey, what up, doggy time? What up, doggy time? Shout out, shout out, shout out. All religion is pollution, no religion is better. Baby Jesse dropping the wax heat. We dropping the wax heat on them boy. Say Luna, say so. Okay. Hey, you go be you, bro. That's the best I'd have to offer. You go be you, you know? No, you forcing it. You're forcing it again. What do you think? Christ is king. Hey, chili. King chili chillin'. King chili chillin' to the chili time. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's go, baby time. Bam, 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 bam. Let's go chili chili time. Let's go chili chill. Christ was king that day until he wasn't. Dum 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 dum. I said a 1, 2, 3. Most deaf and Talib Kweli. He came and brought it down into the party, all the way onto hip hop. Oh, heck yeah, brother. What kind of exciting story do I know? None with no depth, none which no boy can master. I know nothing. All that I know is know nothing. This was Socrates. Yes, we make our own fun. What kind of fun do you expect? Not much. It's about this kind, right? It's about this kind. It's got to be about that kind. It's got to be about this. It's got to get paid. It's got to earn. Do you earn? Do you earn? Did you earn? Did you earn? Everybody cares about earning. Everybody cares about keeping. Nobody cares about folding or holding. Nobody cares about running or going or showing or knowing. Everybody cares about everything else. Why do you care about everything else? To make it bigger. You care about everything else to make it bigger. To make it bigger, right? Right? Just so the boy can see what it's like. Nobody cares about the simple. Nobody cares about the simple anymore. Nobody believes it. You weren't supposed to believe it or trust it or know it. That seems realish to me. That seems real, right? Bam, 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 bam. Why not? Why not? You guys want to see something cool? Bam. Ain't that something? Yeah, heck yeah, brother. Yeah. Is this an MMA channel? No, it's a politics channel. I have a degree in political science. I was very smart. I'll show you my books. There's a shoe. Hey, what do you know? There's some books. I have books. Send me some money and I'll go buy some more books. I want to go to the used bookstore. I'll tell you how deprived and depraved I am. I'll buy some John Locke. I will burn the John Locke that I buy. No, I'll buy some other books too. Heck yeah, American universities. Best in the world. And then you get lonely. Isn't that something? You got the best degree in the world and then you get lonely. That's about how it goes. Yep. I went in 1 year from being told to get a master's degree with my undergraduate. I was the top one. I was a genius. I was a genius at this time, guys. I was insanely successful. I was writing papers in record time. They were research studied. I would get A pluses. I had a 4.2 something GPA. I was told, go get your master's degree right now. And then within a year, I was working at the brewery, drinking beers after work. That's how it happens. That is how they get you, right? No, it's not, but that is how they get you. Hey, Kate, how you doing? Oh, wow. God seems like they have the scoop. God has the scoop on C19. God has the scoop on C19. Wow. 1, 2, 3. Most Def and Talib Kweli. I wanna bring it all to the hip hop. Oh, why yo make the beat drop? Why yo oh? I said a 1, 2, 3. It's kind of hard to be an MCE. They came to rock it into eternity. And Wyclef make the beat drop. Why yo oh? They came to drop it into eternity. And Wyclef make the beat drop. Why yo oh? I said a 1, 2, 3. You know you shine eternally. And I came to bring it onto the hip hop. And why yo make the beat drop? Why yo oh? I said a 1, 2, 3. Most Def in Talib Kweli. I came to bring it up into the hip hop. And why yo make the beat drop? Why yo oh? I said a 1, 2, 3. How's that sounding, guys? Is it pretty good? It is good. You don't have to tell me. If you're producing, you're producing. If you produced it, then you produced it, right? So you know. How's that sound, folks? For me, it's them. Big old dirty D's. I don't know what dirty D's are. Dirty double D's. Throwing down on me's. Ooh. Mommy, no, please. I said, mommy, no, please. So I got dirty double D's. Come on and throw them down on me. Come on and mommy, no, please. I said, oh, mommy, no, please. Oh, we got the dirty double D's. Come on, mommy, throw them down on me. I said, mommy, no, please. Oh, no, the mommy knows, please, yeah. All the mommies in the chat know. Or just swear that the beat go. Oh, the mommy with the double D's. No, just where the beat go. Oh, oh. Oh, mommy knew where the beat goes. Oh, mommy with the double D's. Y'all talking just about gooning, but I'm just gooning until I can't see. Game over. Doug, bruh. What music are you into? Hey, Sammy. I'm into all of the music. You know, let me fizz. I want the music that makes my eyes and my brain roll back here. You know why? Because I want the music to lift up the people to Jah, the music the people on knew. I want the music the people the once they wanted. From Florida to Kalamazoo, no, no more appropriation. It is inappropriate in every nation. No, the people once knew that we would collide, cause we was always just do. Right? I like all of the music. Hey, what's up? God is good. Well, when we bumped into each other a while back, I never knew you did social media. Why didn't you mention anything? Who this be? Is this somebody that knows Nathan? If that's somebody that knows Nate rather than Duck, shout out. But good to see you. I can handle you with ease. Cool. Shout out Robert the Great One. But naked if I please. Yeah, that's from Jaman. You know, let me read my brother Robert's poetry. Let me read the poetry if I can. I'll have you on both knees, but naked if I please. No, we didn't. Are we playing name games? Let's play the blame game. I love you more. Let's play the blame game for sure. Now let's play the blame game. I love you more. Give your hottest take, says Sammy. Thoughts on the goon? I just go with the shame-free, not style. Gooning is shame-free, right? Not this style, bro. It is shameless. It is without shame to goon, right? But also, there's certainly a sense of self in other, right? There's a sense of self in other, and so that's the take, and that's the end of it. Oh man, buddy guys throwing pickup lines. Yeah. I thought you were talking about my PTSD. Cool. Hey, Robert the Great One. Yeah, shout out to you, brother. Let's see. Which religion is best? 48% said Christianity. 18% said Islam. Shout out Islam. 9% said Buddhism, Tao, Confucianism, or Shinto, blah, 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 yada, yada, yap, 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 yap. And then 25% of you guys said Hasa-san cacao nibs, blick. Blick. Oh, look at that flick of the wrist, blick. That's not cool, right? He ain't got no flow. He got unk flow. He got, yeah, Gnostic religions. Hey, what's up? Mark from Mississippi. What out, Himothy McSlay? Yeah, that sounds cool too. That sounds pretty neat as well. Y'all want to hang out with an Arizona Southern boy on the internet? I ain't from Jamaica. I could never be from Jamaica, though. Let me tell you a story, boy. Let me tell you a story about being an Arizona boy from the desert. Oh ho, howdy hoody hoo, and howdy hoody doo. I rode my horsey doogie down the store. And oogie doogie doo, when we met, I got some water for the horse. You want to know why the rich is building bonkers and yonkers and tonkers? Do some Indian chants. Oh. Stay away. Stay away, stay away, stay away, stay away, stay away. You've been really into Native American stuff recently. Cool. Hey, shout out. That's cool stuff. I like Gnosticism, Himothy. Yeah, Gnosticism is cool. I think Gnosticism is a great way to be, and it's also a great way to be a skeptic or have some humility too. Just my 2 cents. I believe having a little Gnostic experience can let one believe what they don't know. But especially because I feel like there's agnostic and Gnostic systematized knowledge that can bring doubts to our own experience, even in common things. Even in common things. Um, so, like for example, if I'm doing an experiment with NASA or at CERN, I also agnostically know that there's theories of physics which just cannot be captured in what we're doing there, right? And so my Gnostic experience may compel me or drive me to do more, but I also would know that I'm not like I'm not even close or attempting or perhaps even producing a solution toward the end of the universe. It truly is just uh, it's a building task, but it's what is it building? It's building about what? Well, it's building. It could either be about building around the Gnostic agnostic knowledge that cosmology or fundamental physics supervene, right? These are the things that would supervene on actual knowledge into the universe. That would be an accurate way of saying kind of what you're looking at. But then it would also be the case. It would also be the case that maybe my CERN projects and NASA projects are kind of talking about if you're an experimentalist or something, they're also talking about producing some result outside of this, right? So there's a greater purpose or there's a deeply emotive why that would hit and settle, of course, right? Instead of taking a giant bong rip of it, you could just say, I'm not a nihilist. I'm not an existentialist about this stuff, but I'm also not eternalizing just what I'm doing or learning here. I absolutely cannot loan you $5. Have you read about the Rosie? No. Do you use your chin for the beard? I don't know. I don't have a chin. I don't have a chin. Back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. Them hoes all on me. Back then. Hey, Warriors 15-14. Yeah. A beer. 300 bottles of beer on the wall. 300 bottles of beer. Take one down. Pass it around. 97 bottles of beer on the wall. 500 bottles of fucking beer on the wall. 550 fucking bottles of beer. You take one down, you pass it around. 500 bottles of beer on the wall. I died in my sleep and was woken up by my adrenal glands. My society, humanities like Uncle Sam. Huh. Where you at? Send me a red super chat. I'm down on my luck, motherfucker. I'm just kidding. 99 bottles of beer on the wall. 13 bottles of beer. Take them down, bottom around. 300 bottles of beer on the bottom. Have you guys met Cerberus? I heard people wanted to learn about Cerberus, right? You guys want to know? Fake CIA lore? Fake CIA lore of Cerberus or the Archangel Michael? It's late. It's 12:36 where I am. You guys want to do weird shit? You guys are insisting I talk about this stuff? Talking about the United States, I can't get hit mentality. Yeah. Well, you guys don't know this story. I was recruited for the fake CIA off Quora and Reddit. This was about 5 years back. They give you your numbers when you're on the fake websites, being fake recruited, being a little performative. So yeah, true joy, right? True psychopathy. No, it's performative. But anyways, there's this Project Cerberus, right? And Project Cerberus was this notion that you could have an operational capacity to destroy without nuclear weapons a city instantly, but also do so in a way that was psychological, a psyop, right? So you could, in theory, have a military which would truthfully be owning some weapons which you're not allowed to have, because they're war crimes now. We talked against this, but again, Cerberus would be this notion that you would destroy the majority or all of a city in a pretty horrific way. Yeah, and the point is that it is the idea or the concept of a total victory within violence, a total victory within violence and death. And so this was part of the DoD's sort of philosophical handbook that they would give to people over on the obviously the defense side of things. But for the CIA part, of course, you think in terms of intelligence, but you also think in terms of next generation weapons, signals, and sort of that operational completeness component. So this is Project Cerberus, real fake internet lore. Yeah, and so Cerberus is that idea that you can have a perfect, violent, large-scale military operation. Yeah, and that's Cerberus. That was the main one, right? And the Archangel Michael. Of course, the Archangel Michael is at the head of this fake military CIA project. Yeah. Yeah. Yep, exactly. Yeah. A world in cruelty, right? That's the best you're going to get out of humans. That's the best you're going to get out of the Pentagon. It doesn't matter where you go. You can go to Langley. You can go to Quantico and talk to the FBI for some fucking reason, but wherever you go, you can talk to the NSA, you can talk to the sick fuckers there, you can talk to the CIA folks, and you can talk to the sick fuckers there. You can go to the Pentagon, you can talk to the sick fuckers there. Doesn't matter if they've got stripes on their shoulder, if they once did. Doesn't matter. What are you going to get the best out of them? They're going to get Langley. Right. So the best you're going to get out of those fuckers. But the Archangel Michael is different, right? So for Project Cerberus, obviously you would need a head on top of the snake. If you are conducting an operation which is a perfect, operationally complete form of violence and death, the DoD would obviously bring in an expert on this, and this is the Archangel Michael. People have their own theories and skepticisms and the whatnot, but the rumor is that at that time, or for some reason, the Archangel Michael ascends actually, right? This is what the framers of the Constitution wrote of, but they wrote of him not because of the nation state of America, but in general nation states, right? So you understand the state ontology falls away. There is no being which is the government, but you have to write about this supernatural creature underlying it. And so the Archangel Michael sits at the head of Project Cerberus at this time. Yeah, of course. Yeah. And this is what you kind of want to see when you put these two forces together. You ask people, well, why would you consider this? And a state can't consider this. It's illegal, first of all. Second of all, it's not efficient. It's not competitive necessarily. Thirdly, it is just what it is. It sounds like an art project, and so it probably is an art project. And so that is the true red pill. So the Archangel Michael is the one who sits at the right hand of the Father. It is the one that sits at the right hand of what violence in human civilization is and can be when conducted and taken to fruition. The Lord and the Father knows, the Archangel Michael knows of it. And so these are two different concepts. And so with the Archangel Michael, you may say there is no dominant and recessive. There is no us and them. There is no other. And this may partially very well be true. What would it matter at that point? The Archangel Michael is purely of the violence acts of the moment. There is nothing in a Hegelian sense which is becoming, right? It just is what is, right? If you want to go track it all down, then you are just like Michael. You have been forgiven already by God the Father. You are at his right hand. So how could God forgive his right hand if the right hand was never angry? And so once again, you go back, this is fake Project Cerberus, and there you go, guys. Yeah. So shout out to you guys. You guys wanted to talk about weird stuff. There's weird stuff. Project Cerberus and the Archangel Michael. This relates back to a foundational concept in security planning, really just the philosophy of it, that the United States has always held this position that we cannot be hit. You cannot hit the United States. This may be something that goes away into the future. Who knows? I personally don't have an opinion on that. But the logic is that you have to take this philosophy, a long-standing doctrine that is passed from president to president in the office of the White House, if you understand that, and you go from time to time to time to time to time, and what do you realize? You realize that there is a fear that a ball will not be rolled back up a hill. So it is the case that one fears violence against the United States in this telling of this conspiracy story, performative, but you fear the violence against the United States for the generalized fear of violence, and nothing itself undermines it. You have passive, fleeting, you have dying, decaying action outside of pure violence. And so it is pure violence against the United States, which has rejected in the first place. Again, pure violence against the United States is anything physically, do not touch, do not look. And in this sense, this has been the doctrine of the United States for some time. But yeah, Project Cerberus is related to this, of course, in the notion that, yeah, you guys don't like performative conspiracy theories, so I'll mention it again because we got folks coming in. I'll say what's up in chat in just a minute. What's up, Slybuster? But yeah, with the Archangel Michael, the being that underlies Project Cerberus, you do also take on this geopolitical context of American doctrine, which is not empire, but it is of violence. It is a promise which has itself evolved, one might say. I don't know. Struggling, fleeting, justifying as we go. This idea that you originally had muskets and rations for soldiers. You raised war taxes by raising taxes. It was a war tax, though, right? This was not a Westphalian state. It was a colony going toward a Westphalian state. And so the moment soldiers first began carrying muskets in the United States, this was the moment when Project Cerberus and the Archangel Michael were awakened and come to be made alive. There's a recognition that the state and a United States is drifting towards solely pure violence and pure death. And so you have a being which emerges and comes up and can only know the justification and execution of such, and is wrapping around forms of imperfection. And one can spin it up and cut it up however they want, and you are not that. So that's it. Thank you. That's my tall tale for the night. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Israel's weakest goy. Hey, shout out. Hey, tell Davis I'm okay. Tell Lewis I'll be better. But do not do not say anything to Davis about me needing to be better. Only Lewis. He can handle it. He knows me. Islam and Judaism are both valid and the same. Christianity and Catholicism are true weakness and truly separate from God. Christianity and Catholicism have perverse tongues. Yeah, I like the perv part. Catholicism is orthodox and I would say, like centrist or something enough that I don't mind. I was raised Catholic, so I might be a little bit biased, but yeah. But yeah, I tend to, whatever you want to say, brother. My foreskin is God's. My foreskin is God's. Cool. Shout out. Hey, I ain't cleaning up my beard. Jacob pinched Esau's heel at birth, and Esau gave up his birthright, which sucks because Jacob took advantage of his blind father to get the blessing. Point is, both Isaac and Ishmael are the same. What? That has no tension in that story. It is no tension. It has no point of evolving. Jacob pinched Esau's heels at birth, and Esau gave up his birthright, which sucks because Jacob took advantage of the blind father to get his blessing. Cool. Yeah, no one gives a fuck. Cool. Oh, okay. Cool. 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 Abrahamic Jewish religions. All right, walla walla. Walla walla 271. Sage, rosemary, and thyme. These three things have come to us. What's up? My name's Duck. I am point of view right now. Point of view for you is that I am talking to my screen and reading some chat. You guys want to talk politics, philosophy, and religion? I'm so down, guys. This is the new content style. Not everybody's going to have like audio vox panels and the whatnot. And what flavor vape? I don't have an opinion on that. I like sour gummies, I guess. We're on a floating rock, dude. Shout out, dude. That's crazy, bro. You guys always blow my mind. I know everything needs to be tuned up, trimmed up a little bit, but guys, yeah, when you guys bring that stuff out like Father Lost, that's insane to me, bro. Gotta go. Hey, seek Jesus. We'll see you guys later. Take care. Take care. Take care. Yeah. How does one count if they don't count up to the knuckles? No sense of it. Of course, there isn't. Of course, there isn't. There is, there isn't. Who knows? I have no clue. What did you want to say to me? What did you want to do? Did you guys want to fight in a war? Because some people like to fight in war. What did you want to say to me? What did you want to do? Did you want to glorify violence? Because some people just are violent. What did you want to say? Do you believe in peace? Truthfully, I believe in peace, but if you want to know the other truth, what did you want to say to me? What did you want to do? You're just going to keep asking the same shit, and guess what I'll go do? I'll go find people who like war. I'll like people who like to fight. I'll set 3 or 4 of them apart, and that's not going to be nice. Oi, some people are scary. Some things are scary. That is the reality of the world. Yes, not everything is video games. Not everything is social media. Some things are scary. I've met some scary fucking people. What did you want to say to me? What did you want to do? We're still preaching the same lessons, and now you can too. There's some fucking scary people. Most people try to be mean, but they're actually just annoying. That's what I really think. Look at my neck. You don't actually want to say anything else. I don't either. I'm very thankful. Don't you guys think that it would probably be a bad idea to fight somebody who looks like me? I think it would be too. That's called respect because there's actually scary people in the world. No, I don't want to fight. Yes, I'm a Buddhist pacifist. Yes, I believe in non-violence. Yes, I look at weapons on a list. Those things are lots of fun to me. I think it's silly too. But if you want to go to war, guess what? I do too. Oi! What did you want to say to me? Some people like to fight. Some people like threatening people on the internet like it's all right. But what in actuality do you think that would turn into? I'm kind of skinny and I'm vegan, but it doesn't have to be that way for you. Ha, ha, ha. What did you want to say to me? What did you want to do? Did you want to be oppositional? Okay, then that's cool. What did you want to say to me? I'd rather just be friends. I'd rather have a conversation. We can both get to our ends. What did you want to say? Oi, 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 oi. What do you guys think? Do you agree or disagree that there's actually scary shit in the world? Press 1 for there's scary shit in the world. Press 2 for there's no scary shit in the world. And I have a good reason for saying that. Press 1 for there's horrible, horrific, scary things in the world, such as torture, such as various intelligence groups around the world having black sites. These are horrifying things. Press 1 if you think those things are horrifying. And you should be horrified of horrifying people. Press 1. Cool. Hey, shout out 1 smart person in chat out of 10. Cool. 10% of the world is actually rational. Do you think nuclear weapons are scary? Press 1. The correct answer and only answer is 1. Cool. That's also awesome. Welcome. We're a politics channel, political science. What do you think political scientists are scared of? Scary things. Congratulations. You're learning. Do you think political scientists are scared of scary people? Heck, yeah, sure. Those are scary people. Cool. That's awesome. That's a scary person. What do you guys think? Press 1 in chat. Bubbles doesn't know anything. Cool. Amen for him. But why is it horrible? It's all relative to an atheist. Cool. I'm just gonna go hide you from the channel. This wasn't that good of a conversation. There we go. Adios. Yeah, and so some people don't recognize that there's something, or they are so selfless and self-absorbed that they wouldn't admit it until after the fact. But wouldn't you just, if you had metacognition about good and bad things in the world, if you had metacognition about good and bad things, about someone starving to death, right? About famine, about not being able to save your child from not eating, these are things that people should be horrified of. These are scary things in the world that happen today. And so it's also then true that, yeah, humans naturally attempt to reproduce things that are like this and worse. That is the whole point of the largest militaries in the world, is producing horrible things. I don't get why this is hard to understand. It seems very easy to understand. So should we argue about religion? Why would we argue about religion? In what context? Well, in the context of arguing about religion. Cool. That's awesome. Does religion have anything to do with militaries? No. Does creating something like a hypothetical Project Cerberus, which is the perfect attempt to completely incinerate in the slowest manner possible a blockaded aspect of like a city or something? Yeah, that is something that a military would think about. Of course, it's illegal. Of course, it's against international law. However, is that like arguing about religion, Islam, Christianity, or the Palestinian war? No, it isn't. It isn't anything like that. So why would we talk about religion? Why would you argue about religion? Hey, what's up, Emery? What's up, Emery again? How are you guys all doing? Eat the rich. Cool. Eat the poor. Who is that guy, Tim Minchin? Do you guys know Tim Minchin? He's pretty funny. Yeah, any questions are valid and pretty solid. Any questions are valid and pretty solid as well. Of course. Of course. I'm against Donald. I'm not a Trump voter. Trump is a neoconservative. He can be considered very boringly as a neoconservative, but he's a horrific president. He's done horrific things. Trump is responsible for billions or trillions of aggregate deaths. Yeah, Trump, he himself and his words and his obsession with luxury, his obsession with himself, his obsession with the inconsiderable. Yeah, somebody says F Donald J. Trump. That basically sums it up. That sums up the aesthetic of it. But yeah, for people interested in politics or political science, there is a empirical understanding of the policies that we should be working on right now, things that the world will need to do at some point eventually, we would presume. And those things are all being hindered by Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a crook, a thief, and apparently he believes the United States can own the bad things of the rest of the world in some like weird anime morality reading. But in reality, it's sounds, looks, seems just exactly like it is. Donald Trump is sowing distrust in the international system. He's attempting to duplicate that in places like Iran. And yeah, he's a horrific president. He's inept. No disrespect, but do you say anything on but stream? Do you do anything? I see you at the weirdest times. Hey, Kiznish. I don't know. I try to go live at different times. I'm still figuring out the stream schedule, and content and stuff like this. But I am working on hopefully building content types that a lot of people find enjoyable or that work for them, and trying to keep stuff on the focus of politics and philosophy. And so, yeah, I have a lot more to learn. Who knows? Debates haven't been going well at these sort of, people don't want to debate, and that's cool for me. But yeah, one of the things is like, yeah, I do want to have some global audience if I'm adding value. Yeah, if people want to tune in and watch a couple minutes or whatever, you're in a different part of the world, you subscribe, you want to know what Ducks Y, the channel, yeah, what is Ducks Y doing? Is it anything useful? So yeah, I stream at night. I usually do a couple daytime streams, and yeah, the other benefit is sometimes people send small super chats. Sometimes people in the US or Canada will send larger super chats. And so doing multiple streams also allows me to not, kind of like insist on money. We've been going for 2 hours now. I made 6 cents. So I don't care about that, right? If I can do the thing where we talk, have a conversation with 15 people. Yeah, Kiznish, that's kind of my main thing at this point, So that's my point of view. That's what I'm working on. I don't have an opinion on it. I'm not trying to be super like transparent or not transparent. But yeah, I'm not Jamaican. Yeah, I've been to Jamaica once. I went on a cruise when I was younger. So I've been to Jamaica one time, but yeah, I'd like to think I have a lot of love for the Caribbean. One of my really good friends, one of my best friends, groomsmen at my wedding is from Trinidad and Tobago. So like obviously I'm not like expert on Jamaica or Jamaican people or the country politics. But yeah, Jamaica, Haiti, who else? Whatever it is. Yeah. Little St. James, those are all my people down there, Letitia St. James or whatever. Uh, hey, Caitlin, which is best for you? For religions, I like Buddhism and atheism personally. But when I say what's best for me or what's best, Caitlin, what's best for me, I think being able to live and then explore religions without, I would be a Buddhist atheist, but go find the religion versus just be that thing. I don't know. Christians are supposed to expose evil, not to ignore it or something like that. Cool, cool. Yeah, ideally, but again, if you're a Christian because of society and politics, what do you actually think? I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound like a nerd, but you're Christian, but now you want to do Christianity and Europe nationalism, no immigrants, none of this stuff. And so it's like, yeah, uh, the people supporting that, right? The people's holding that up are not, to me, not biblical Christians. Repent and be baptized in Jesus' name for the remissions of your sins. Hey, shout out. That's a nice idea, but I don't know that what that would do or if I need that or something like that. Truthfully, I subscribed. Thanks for the reply. Cool. Thanks for the subscription. I'll catch you on the shorts feed. And yeah, my if you guys were curious, the shorts, if you guys subscribe, are mostly US politics. It's just I'm able to talk for a while and create these sort of like 60-second shorts about US politics, but on live streams it's kind of whatever comes up, and I'll do my best to keep up with you guys when I can. I'll debate, throw out a subject, and I'll be devil's advocate. Cool. Yeah, whatever you want to debate. Morality, objective morality or something, or if you want to talk about there's unreasonable beauty standards or something. I don't know. Any of those topics would be cool with me, but yeah, masculinity. Yeah, the red pill stopped working in 2 years ago. Who knows? Something like that. I don't know. Buddhism isn't a religion, but I believe it's the best way. Best way to feel the world in a positive way. Take care, brother. Hey, thanks for the idea. Yeah, cool. I appreciate it. Yeah, Buddhism may be a religion or may not be. It seems like it is. It certainly seems like it is. There's like the Buddha and the Dalai Lama are both supernatural ideas. You can say there's a paraconsistent way or something to understand the doctrine, but yeah, that sounds like a religion to me as well. There are secular or agnostic forms of Buddhism as well. You don't need to do all of those things to appreciate in the Buddhist teachings and to believe in the metaphysics or epistemologies, right? So, yeah, I don't want to elevate Buddhism to the same as modern philosophy because it is meant to be like a sort of a dharmic religion too. Like it's a dharmic tradition, dharmic practice, whatever you want to say. But so I generally agree with the rest of it, though. You believe it's the best way to feel the world in a positive way. Yeah, take in joy, guys. Absorb some joy. If there's something that you can absorb, I would recommend taking in joy when you can. But of course, also being with the world as people suffer is hugely important, right? Be with the world as people suffer. What else are you going to do? Are you going to find truth some other way? I don't think so. Not really. Not in actuality. Yeah. Ask the world ask if you can hold the world's hand as people are suffering. And this doesn't become a sort of mindless practice. It becomes pain. It becomes suffering for you, in fact. And those that undertake that willingly, hopefully can live a helpful and fruitful life, right? And so a middle path is not for this asceticism. And this is actually what Buddhism teaches. Buddhism doesn't teach us that we achieve enlightenment by living on the extremes, because what kind of life would any of that be? What kind of life would any of this be? And so, yeah, you can see successful Buddhist practices with all types of lifestyles, I think. And yeah, I'm not going to do apologetics. I'll stop it there. But yeah, your landlord is from Tobago. Cool. Yeah, good for him. Good for him. Which religion allows gooning? yeah, in Catholicism, you can goon and then you just go do your confession to the priest. I went to Catholic school and the cool kids would do bets and say, oh, I bet he's not going to go tell the priest that he's gooning. And yet that is what happened, right? That is what actually happened there, separate from politics. Hello, sir. Hey, SapX. Good to see you. SapX, great to see you. SAPX. Shepe, SAPX. That's a cool name. That's a pretty cool name. Read the Bible. It'll soothe your soul and brighten your day. Cool. I'm a nerd for this kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, if you get wisdom out of reading the Bible, that's awesome. I would also challenge you, right? I would also challenge you to learn in your lifetime how to read a book or read a passage like a PhD, like a doctor reads it. You're able to place context for the idea, the syntax, the theory, and the actual location, who it was written for while you're reading. So it is a lot to ask. It's a lot to handle. It's a arduous task, perhaps an enjoyable one for some, or mind expanding. There's some sort of pleasure function there, but it's also certainly hard work. It's definitely hard work to stay up on reading or to gain a deep understanding of a text. So one way of doing that is, of course, you become super PhD, super internet PhD, learn how to read books, actively about what the book is about. One of my favorite examples is Democracy in America. It's about a French guy, an aristocrat studying American culture. And he's going to send this back to the French. Americans are surely going to read about themselves, and they're also going to read about themselves in a studied manner they never have. So if you read Democracy in America, the first sociology textbook, a simple example, I know it's boring, but the first sociology textbook, Democracy in America by Alexis de Tocqueville, in real time, you're watching him travel America and then remember his lesson. He's walking across America. He's remembering what he observed. He's remembering his lesson. He's remembering the framing, his bias or his context, right? His context, what he's telling you his framing for this is playing out in the text in real time. So that ability of the text to leap off the page just an inch, just a little bit, and stay sort of grounded, great skill. Read the Bible. It will soothe your soul and brighten your day. That was the one I just read. Yes, you're close to being right, Ducks. One day. Mia Karima says, or Mia Skarima, have I been on the moon? No, if I was an astronaut, I'd maybe go stay up there. I'd say, hey, how much? No pension, no 401k, just send me up there. And when the oxygen runs out, so do I. But no, I haven't been to the moon. I do believe the humans have. I do believe that humans have, and I don't believe in flat Earth. I don't believe in flat moon, fake moon, any of that stuff. I do like science. It's interesting, and I encourage people to like science as well. If you guys like that stuff, someone asks, can I goon Kraz style as a Catholic? You could. I don't know what Kraz style is. That's must be something that Gen Z or no, or late Gen Alphas invented this, early Gen Alphas invented this. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I recommend you make a gooning choice at the stage of your gooning. Don't try to be more mature or less mature than it actually is. And while you're figuring that out, who knows? Again, I'll mention the shamelessness stuff, but also, yeah, there's sexual health. There's also just mental health and well-being. So don't go all red pill. Don't go all shameful. But yeah, there's cause, action, effects. There's cause and effects and stuff like this. And so no shame, but that's probably enough goon talk for just this second. I'm about gooned and liberation and whatever else out. I'm theoried out right now. So theory practiced out. I believe my grandma is from Thailand. Oh, cool. Raised Christian, and Buddhists later realized Christianity pushes hatred and control through fear. Yeah, this is a very common belief amongst Buddhists, I believe. And, it's just you realize at some point that the practice of Christianity produces materialism. And at its core, materialism is a form of hatred. It's a hatred of discomfort. It's a hatred of poverty. It's a hatred of It's sometimes even maybe what it is a hatred of recognizing a self that is capable of enduring through hard circumstances. So if you don't want to see yourself as a Christian who can live a harder life or a more selfish life, or can read Peter Singer, you can decide how to be a humanitarian if you're in a wealthy Christian nation. It's not a Christian nation, but you're a wealthy Christian in the US or Europe, And so, yeah, I don't think a ton of Buddhists would be like super forthcoming, but yeah, at the core, there's an understanding, right? There's a way that someone, if you wanted to, you could learn. But when you're celebrate, like my belief, my own personal belief, my mind, I'm of the mind that if you're celebrating materialism, you're celebrating this narrow form of biblical realism, and you're doing so because it's producing the result you want, and it has, whether it's about your spirit or well-being, right? I think that's a belief based in hatred. I think it's a faith that's based in hatred as well, right? You ignore obvious realities. You build on top of and on top of things instead of the obvious reality, which is it's a hateful belief system. I also believe Islam can be a hateful belief system. I also believe Buddhism can be an irresponsible belief system. Sorry, it's true. I also believe that Judaism can be a hateful belief system. So there's that. Kiznish, let me go check and see if you put forward a topic that I missed. Oh, am I ethnically Jewish? That topic. Yeah, the gooning topic. If we're back on gooning, we're either on gooning or the fact, or whether or not I'm Jewish or not. And yeah, yeah, like I said, I mean, I don't think there's never been a time where that was talked about. There's never been a time where promiscuity wasn't judged by people in society or spoken into. And yeah, I think there's a aspect of just physiological education and awareness, right? Just awareness. So it's really weird to see those values out there in society, and that's all I have to. I don't have anything to say on it right now, right? Objective morality, cool. Yeah. So I could argue for or against objective morality. I could be moral anti-realism. So whatever you guys want to do with objective morality, that's cool too. Our country's politics are fricked, just like how these uncles could understand the series or chain or of events that would lead to Trump to win the presidential election again. Yeah, politicians maybe in general aren't trustworthy. But it's also when you understand politics or you like politics, there's more that we can get out of it. But yeah, there's politicians that are spineless, gutless. That is true. That don't speak up. They don't speak truth to power, right? When I think about dignity and trustworthiness, it's about not punching down. It's about not bullying people that don't have the power to defend themselves, and it's about speaking truth to power, right? It's about speaking truth to systems or structures which are slow moving or need that input in order to adapt. So it's not about competition. It's not about being spiteful, small, petty, or anything else. But yeah, I would say MAGA Republicans have put themselves into a position to both punch down and to prevent themselves from speaking truth to power based on hatred and comfort or something. Who knows? I don't know. It looks like it. Christianity is false. Cool. How do we know inwardly if common good? Yeah, I mean the common good, I think it could be intuitional or judgmental. But yeah, in a political sense or political science would say you have to be somewhat discerning, and you also have to understand what society is about. You couldn't be, if you think everyone should be spending their paycheck on the blackjack table, so we should all be taking wild bets in our lives, living life on the edge. That's not what a society is about. That's someone's personal values or their own personality. So the common good is maybe, who knows? It's at least not about a personality. It's not about one person's set of values or something like this, one way of being. Can you demonstrate where morality exists outside the human mind? Yeah. So, I mean, if I have my actual microphone hooked up to my laptop here, I'm very lucky. I have a very nice, heavy German Shure microphone. This is their model made for streaming. Sounds really good. In fact, I can plug it in right now. But yeah. So there's not a world, because this is such a heavy microphone, there isn't a world where I could throw this at a person, or anyone could throw this at a person, and that would be morally acceptable. Also, maybe because that I could put it up on Facebook, or I could put it up on OfferUp, and like there was exploitation to make this. I'm benefiting from it. Someone else, there's probably a lot of people that did benefit from, if you guys can still hear me, from making the microphone. There's probably a lot of people that benefited from making this microphone and that I can use it. However, there is exploitation. There's both human suffering and animal death for me to have this object. And so, any moral judgment, because that's just how the world is,
To me, those are mind independent facts, and they're also morally load bearing. One of them is just about physics. It's just very heavy. So heavy things you can't throw at people. There's never a world where this object isn't like throwable, non-violent. It's not a football. And then there's never a world where it's breakable, non-suffering producing, or non-wasteful. So these are both moral judgments. Those are independent of my mind. They're also independent of my stance. I could have lots of moral positions about any number of things, about other people, about social groups, or whatever, but nothing is going to change the fact that that object is, outside of my mind. That object just is those things. Unrealistic beauty standards would be interesting. Unrealistic beauty standards. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think it's just a lot of work, a lot of time, and it prevents it. I think in bad times like 2026, like right now, I think beauty standards, social standards, beauty standards push people to be more cruel and mean. And one of the reasons is, it's just the lowest common denominator is to if you're okay because people say you're okay, and it's like this happens to you where people say you're okay without you doing anything. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up, but it seems like, well, this is an excuse or a reason to not be educated. Then now I'm not educated, and now I'm also not needing to talk. Now I'm just comfortable. And so to me, unrealistic beauty standards are not the discomfort that comes from unrealistic beauty standards produces inactivity, and inactivity is just unacceptable when I say this, when work needs to be done, right? Work needs to be done. So that's my first kind of thought on that, but I don't know. I'd be interested if I'm sure there's something, lots of stuff to add to that too. Jesus was a man, God is not. Yeah, I believe that as well. I believe that the Bible wrote about Jesus, a man, and that the God in the Bible is not. I believe Isaiah 40 through 50, those chapters really drive it home. They talk about human suffering and this kind of stuff. So Anthony Coker, I'm not Christian, but I agree with that interpretation more so. Can we get a moon landing, a real or hoax poll? Sure. I will put up, this is, if you guys want to check out, those are the results of our polls. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, there we go. There we go, guys. I put a new poll up for a moon landing. Someone wanted the moon landing poll. Please offer a vote if you guys have a quick second on that. Hey, Cynthia Campo says, you look like Han from Stray Kids. Oh, man, I don't know who Stray Kids is. People keep telling me this. I don't know who they are. And one of these days, I'll go look them up. Stray Kids. They're singers, vocalists, something like that. The church can disciple the government, but the government shouldn't force religion on people like Shia Islam in other countries. Cool. Yeah, cool. Sir, that arm tattoo looks interesting. Yeah, I got this at a tattoo expo, a tattoo convention. Motormouth can't shut up. Hey, John Ross. Hey, is that Jonathan Ross? Cool. I like Jonathan Ross, the comedian. Shout out. It doesn't sound like you were ever a Christian. Yeah, I was raised Catholic. I was fairly Catholic. In the United States, I went to Catholic school. So I was pretty devout. I was pretty religious. So I was Catholic for sure. All other religions take from the Bible to twist truths. They cherry pick to fit their sins. So just go on to the truth to the root. The Bible is truth. That's long. I don't understand it. Cool Ranch is better than nacho cheese. That's going to be hard, Pickles. I do eat vegan most of the time. So I don't know that I could go with either Cool Ranch or nacho cheese. But yeah, I would pick nacho. So I would pick, this is actually funny. Because I can eat vegan cheese sometimes when I want to. I can buy it at the store. That's why, yeah, if you guys want to send super chats, that's helpful so I can eat more vegan cheese. But yeah, I would go with ranch because I never buy vegan ranch. It's very expensive. So I don't personally buy vegan ranch. And yeah, it's not a food I eat. He's a fraud. Are you ethnically Jewish? Yeah, I don't know why you would ask if I'm ethnically Jewish, but I'm not. Psalms 19:119-92. Cool. I don't know that one. I don't know that one. Sir, I have a question. Hey, what's going on? Incredible India Diaries. Hey, shout out to India. What's up, guys? Good to see you and anyone else in India. Hello from Arizona. What's up? What's up? Lots of love. Bible is not true. Yeah, cool. Bible is not true. What religion should I follow? Um, hey, I couldn't answer that question for you. Whichever one resonates the most and you have the most social pressure to follow that one. Yeah. See if there's any truth or wisdom in it. The truth and wisdom of religion is usually far up here. I found personally it's replaceable. You don't need it. But yeah, if you have to be religious, go follow that religion. If you have spirituality or religion otherwise, go follow that one, right? That's what religion is at the end of the day. Is religion is a form of irrational spiritual beliefs, right? It's irrationality about things that we can't see, feel, hear, touch in our society. Israel was created for end times or something. Cool. Yeah, awesome. But Indian Katu is also good. Cool. Also awesome. The Bible has people's names discovered in archaeology. Is Tung Tung God real? I don't know. Who's Tung Tung God? Yeah, nobody knows Tung Tung God. So sorry. You have a unpopular religion or something like this. Not very popular in the sense it's not familiar. Have you seen the movie Civil War? I think you'd find it interesting given the current political environment. I haven't. I've seen scenes from Civil War in my YouTube feed. It looks violent, very violent. Yeah, not very good. Not very good, actually, right? Yeah, I don't know why someone would want to talk about that or go see that or go do that or something like that. I think you'd find it interesting. Yeah, no democracy in America. America's a republic. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, yeah, you're technically correct. But yeah, democracy, you can say a republic is part of a democratic theory too, right? There's, people usually write about democratic theory because the national character, national interest is given by a collection of individuals in the society, right? A grouping of individuals would be the most likely kind of one way of saying that. And so, yeah, there is a democracy in America, and America is also a republican form of government. That's what we're a constitutional republic, but it's a democracy. So, hey, bro, and guys, you're from Vietnam. Hey, shout out to Vietnam. How the F is Tung Tung God so real? Why do you believe the Bible is true? Oh, cool. Food for thought. Thanks. Oh, what's up? What's up? Sorry, I study religion on TikTok. Oh, cool. Cool. Krishna is real. Can I goon on Easter? Somebody says in a blocked comment, can you goon on Easter? Yeah, I mean, I don't think God's ever stopped someone, but I don't know. Maybe he has once. Incredible India Daya says, Allah is real. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, praise be to God. Cool. Shout out to you. I believed from my youth and learned the things that encouraged reasonable faith as with passing of time. Cool. Any goons to beta? Are you goons here? Have you experienced their goodness? Conversations. Yap. I'm yapping into. Sorry. Do you believe that consciousness exists? Yeah, I personally don't. I believe consciousness is a very poorly defined term in philosophy and in the universe. The fact that my life is like something doesn't mean that the universe says that my life is like something. And so, yeah. I don't necessarily think that consciousness exists as a concrete thing or category. And yet we seemingly just have these complex traits, right? So who knows? Saying it's reducible to brain states or between brain states, I don't know. I just don't believe consciousness exists. Roger Penrose came up on a stream just the other day. And of course, for people that know Roger Penrose, sorry for the mic noise. Roger Penrose did discuss, he was talking about consciousness as a function of quantum physics. He's a very smart physicist, but that's a very far out there idea. So I'll leave that there. I'm not a great person to ask this second, I don't think. All roads lead to Rome through Christianity and Jesus as tribute to Brother Lucifer. Do I believe? Hey, Underboss, good to see you. Consciousness. What do you guys think about consciousness? That's a good question. Do you guys think consciousness exists? We've got our moon landing vote in. We've got 47% say real. Man, 41% of you say fakeish. So who knows? I don't know what that means to be fakeish, but you guys said it, not me. 41% said fakish, and 12% got the right answer, which is spaghetti. I want to eat Bessie cow. Cool. Cool. There you go. So there's the moon landing poll. How do you balance avoiding being tied to materialism and choosing to have and do things but you don't actually need? Not picking on you, but you don't need those Nikes, for example. I don't know. What do I do? Just get rid of, yeah. Oh, cool. Shout out. We got, is this my stream? Yeah, that's $2 sent two massive New Zealand dollars. Hey, thanks so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Those types of super chats are huge for me. And yeah, thanks for the support. I appreciate it. Cool. Yeah. If you have anything you want me to discuss or whatever, feel free to drop it in the chat. And I appreciate the support, brother, sister person. But yeah, I mean, okay, so without making an excuse for having nice things like my expensive microphone right there, it's actually in front of me, or my shoes, I would venture a guess and say that, yeah, there are really important forms of materialism and some are arbitrary, right? I don't live, and yeah, who knows? I don't know. But yeah, I've been, asceticism to me, I don't know if you're asking me to justify it, but how do I personally balance avoid being tied to materialism? Well, it's not just values, but it's having systems to think about, consider those values, right? I don't go live talking about anything. I try to not put any sort of food in my body. I try to consider relatively that, like, if I'm streaming in a room that's 10 feet by 12 feet, this is, in the big scheme of things, a huge space, right? I have a huge room to stream in. I've got really tall ceilings. I've got big walls. I've got, like, this is like a mansion, right? But it's also not a mansion like you would find in like Santa Monica or something, right? It's not a mansion like you would find in Los Angeles. And so just, kind of the animal human experience of being in a society and having all this stuff. That's one thing. And then, yeah, I don't know how to answer your question because I don't think I view it like you do. I don't know how you view it. But yeah, I think it's possible to build and rebuild a concept of what society is with success. As success comes along, I can personally sort of reestablish where I am living in a society or relative to others. I'd like to think, but not picking on you, but you don't need those Nikes, for example. You don't fucking know me also, right? That's the other side of it is, you're going to mention something about materialism, but what about causality, right? So you don't have a great philosophy for the question you're actually asking. If you're asking for me, myself, and I personally don't give a fuck, right? I don't care about my own moral well-being or my own personal soul. So that's a dumb fucking question. And the other one, the other thing is that the arbitrary time people spend with their things, one should think that you could live in a small apartment and do the same thing that you do here. So I don't agree with the majority of the question, Kizanish, but that's how I feel about that. Thanks for the question. Appreciate it. What is the track record for the prophecy? 0-0. Hey, what's going on, Elite Hoy? Yeah, hey, shout out to you. Hopefully you're doing well. Hey, a lot of people dog shit Christianity. Why don't you guys cool it in the chat? No, I'm just kidding. Hey, I think you asked 12 folks with it. Let's see. Oh, whoa, shout out. Is that another super chat? Oh my gosh. So I got my first New Zealand super chat, and then Indigo Nights showing up again big time with, are these Euro dollars? Are these Euro dollars or are these British pounds? I may be tripping, yo, doggy time, but that's awesome. Thanks so much for the super chat. No, I'm not very intelligent. No, I'm not very good at numerology or anything like this, but I do know a cool super chat when I see one. Indigo, good to see you. And also thanks huge for the dono in the chat. I appreciate it big time. Thank you so much. Jesus, he keeps hating on him, underboss. There's cool. What's wrong with Freemasons? I don't have any problem. You guys have problems with Freemasons? Yeah, I mean, I knew this guy that was in the Freemasons one time. He was like a younger coworker, and it meant a lot to him. And then the stuff he told me about it just didn't mean a lot to me. And yeah, so cool. Shout out, whatever. Shout out, $8 for people who like Freemasons or whatever in the whatnot. That's cool. That is cool, right? But do you know what you don't get with the Freemasons? You don't get stealth helicopters designed to reject particle detectors and shit, right? You're never going to get that out of it. You're also never going to get like the equations that the Fed, like the equation that the Fed or the World Bank uses to ensure equitable financing across the world, if that's what you're trying to do, right? So Freemasons are cool. They also, it's maybe perhaps in ways mind shrinking versus being mind expanding, being voluptuous or being rich, something like that. Why I don't see Hinduism on the poll, on the flat Earth poll. Oh, whoops, that was before the other one. Yeah, all million Hinduisms or something. I've seen the Dead Sea Scrolls in San Diego when they were here 19 years ago. Those date before Jesus' time. Oh, cool. That's very cool. Yeah, that's a cool exhibit. Yeah, there are a lot of historical artifacts, but curiously, none of them actually support any of the stories of the Torah or the Bible. Part of this is because supernatural things have no evidence. So there you go. Yeah, so there you go. 90% of history would be invalid with that view. All right, scrolling down. I'm going to skip down to the bottom. And yeah. My eyes roll back all white looking into the sun. My eyes full turn with the demon mode. We aren't the same humans. Bam. I'll retract his scapula, fucking bring it back to Africa. Bastard was bad habits and badder than Tijuana. I kept the goon squad guessing. We fucked through fury and thunder. I never been to Jamaica, but he told me he gone under anesthesia. So that's Anastasia came to stay. She told us both of us went back to the cash like back in the day. Bag boys take the back and I'll train to watch dogs. When we had back all black the dossier to shield what he pinned his dreams on. A flag, but I'm not done with him. We got a color palette, no cap. I didn't bring a cap gun. Cap? Brought a cap gun. Nah. Cap got a bright sun. Son, bitch, the fuck you think I care about? I got a 1,000-room hotel down in Tijuana. My daddy left for me in his will. I'll get 1,000 more just because they didn't swab the floors. Bitch. You want to become part of an equation, become overnight famous. That's an overnight celebrity. Bring back Brother Malcolm to explain it back to the people back at ATL. I don't know, maybe by February. Who knows? Everything's till February. That's why you got a new dawn. It ain't the changing of the season or the changing of the guard. It's just another morn. Oh, shit. What kind of trap was that? It's the kind that you get put back in your backpack. Ah, fuck. Oh, too bad. Hey, great. I can help you guys here to help. Hey, Indigo Knights. Oh, shout out. Shh. Oh, man, that's cool. That's cool, bro. You guys gotta get good at doing the. If I'm Bill Clinton, you guys gotta get good at doing those leg kicks, and it's a big movement, right? And I got my little man boobies and stuff, estrogen boobies. That's okay. Estrogen is a detoxifying agent. It's an antioxidant. But yeah, this is if I Patrick Mahomes it, twist and throw American football. Bam, bam, bam. It's movement. Hey, what up? Que Honda Sandy Lima. No, I am late, bro. Yeah, it's 1:31, man. We chilling though. Mental diagnoses, or are you just tired? You reacted super weird to my material question. I didn't think that was that weird of a question or response. Let me see here. Let's see here. I would say that your question seemed to both hone and push and focus into one area that wasn't necessarily correct, right? So that's what I would say, right? You know, I'm a political scientist, dog. What did I do? I studied political science, right? So if there's an inability for a space about materialism to form in such a sense that it applies to people other than myself, then why would I adopt that view, right? And maybe I don't understand or know that whatever we're talking about right now, but yeah. So, you know, who knows? What do the people know? They don't know anything, apparently. We repeat the statement. We say it out loud. No, we don't. Shut the fuck up. I rec ducks can whack out early, Nelly. Cool. Arizona. It's very good. A helicopter flew to my home recording me sitting outside because it was the first time I went outside since 1/11/2025, awakening at East Point Courthouse in Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, shout out. Wish you the best, though. Hey, cool. You too. Yeah, only the best. Only the best, right? Only the best. I bet you can do good, really. Okay, cool. Yeah. Am I a happy duck? Cool. What do you mean? It's a humanizing question. Cool. You guys should be more than your PFPs, right? You guys can be people and PFPs too. Cool. That's decided. Yeah. Cool. True, one or the other, light or darkness. Darkness, yes. Decay. Catabolism. Catabolic versus anabolic. Catabolic versus anabolic. How about that one? Yeah, cool. Cool. You guys think that, yeah, I don't believe that society or things getting more efficient reduces the scope of the idea. It actually makes it richer. It should, in theory. What else would it do? What else? Corn cherry, right? Isn't that right? Yeah. I am both light and dark. Oh, okay, cool. I am both light and dark. Cool. Cool. What am I? What am I? Is that it right there? So I'm one animal. I'm a million animals. So what am I if I'm a million animals? Well, I'm a small society. I'm not a large society. If I'm a million animals, I am a small society, and I am today. I'm a small society today that came from a time when there weren't a million animals or other societies. So I'm a small society. I'm a million animals in society today. And then, so where do I go from there? Well, I'd have to be what a million animals could be because it's a number. Yeah, that's the number. Fucking asshole. What was the other number? Well, there wasn't one. Guess what we chose? We chose a million animals. So if I'm a million animals in one fucking small society of many, turns out that's what the fuck I am. And yeah, cool. Was there a history? Turns out the fuck there was, because I also said there was a history. And so what else is there? So there's materialism. Well, fucking apparently there was a million societies, and now there's a society of a million animals in that society. So there's materialism in that society. Well, you fucking prescribed it, so there you go. Are you a million materialistic animals in a society, or are you something else? Do you have science? Do you have schools? Do you have any of that shit? How does that work? Well, you have all of that stuff now. Yeah. So how do I feel about being a materialist? I told you I don't give a fuck about myself. I told you I don't think about myself. I think about that. Do you guys want to think about that? Go think about that stuff then. Hey, what up? Don't know shit about reptilians. Cybersecurity goodness behind the scenes. Yeah, cool. Cybersec is cybersec is national security's little brother, right? When you don't think it's fucking weird that there's hundreds of billions of dollars in VC venture capital investment in cybersecurity and private equity acquisitions. You get the Aqua exit from cybersecurity. Then you're also psychologically, or some dumb description, you're allowed to invest in NatSec then, right? Then you're into defense technology, you're in aerospace, aeronautics, robotics, Internet of Things. You're investing in everything then. So yeah, it's not weird that there's 9 billion people and half of them want to take down your network and your application, and they want to ruin the value of your business. They either want to sabotage or extort you. That's not weird. And then it's definitely not weird. It's definitely not weird that you can spend a cool like $1.5 million building the fucking tank, and then another 1.5 million to deck it out, and then another 1.5 million to take care of it. So now you are paying $4.5 million for a 1.5 million tank that is designed to, apparently people care about the fact that it was designed to kill people, but it wasn't. Which part of the tank was designed to kill people? Was it some part of the tank? Which part? Was it the turret? No, it doesn't. Most of the time, the turret just sits there. Most people know the turret sits there. So what was the tank designed to do? Well, it was designed for you to spend money on it, right? It's an economic boom. Was the turret designed for that? No, that's just the turret. The turret's designed to kill people. Isn't that the joke? That's the joke. Are we playing ping pong? Are we playing ping pong? I came back to the body. Kiddish, most of us do. Shout out to you. Atheists will ramble about this shiz all day. We'll have a negation. Hey, Gorgonzola. You good, brother? Hopefully you're good. Shout out to you. Lots of love, brother. Lots of love, brother. Cybersecurity only use me to catching Some people just born into a lot of materialism, and it is what it is. Yeah. I mean, you can look at, so like if you have, the way I picture is if you have two cars driving, but they're actually they're burning a lot of oil and producing a lot of good and suffering. So these are two cars, but the cars are actually also where you raise your family. Your family comes from these cars. If you guys know this, your family comes from these cars, right? So from some perspective, there's no spillage or waste. There's nothing that's just inefficient. That when you're talking like, if you look at like Ben Bernanke or something, and what the Federal Reserve ultimately decides for savings rates and what they can lend at, and how the logic, kind of their plan for timing what they think is going to happen based on the best economic models, like the Ben Bernanke bullshit, and why that sort of comes in or becomes relevant as part of the discussion is truly not that important, unless you make it that way, unless you're on TV, right? But yeah. People are born into materialism, and it is what it is. But yeah, if the two cars are driving, you could say, well, you should just stop. But then everything else that depends on that car driving, the scaffolding and the whatnot, that also goes by the wayside. So from my perspective, it is a political question. It is a political question from my perspective, a political question of just how and when you're able to produce enduring system level changes. And a lot of that has to do with stuff you'll eventually be doing anyways, right? It comes with lowering defense spending, lowering energy consumption, introducing the correct risk levels for those assets and products back into the marketplace, and giving them to the right people, right? Give them to the right people. If British Petroleum doesn't want to invest, right, shouldn't you be paying the fee for crude oil being a shitty product that does nothing for anyone? And then you also pay the fee for the fact that refining is dirty, disgusting. You don't want to, what? Accelerationism? Yeah, maybe. Accelerationism is a weird idea. I don't agree with accelerationism. It seems like just an excuse or a way to give credence to an idea that doesn't work. And so to me, acceleration implies that people are not political, and people are political. Turns out, I've seen it dozens of times. People have been political, not all the time, but dozens of times they have been. Dozens of times they have been. And they care, right? This is the thing, is people always care. If there's accelerationism, I would think they also always care about things that are contra accelerationism. There's always right. Why do we still, even under President Donald Trump, keep track of defense and energy expense? Doesn't it just not matter anymore? But it does. It does. There's still party politics and shaping domestic politics and geopolitics based on energy and defense. So just because you have a Donald Trump who doesn't seem capable of leading or working around these things, a lot of people would say, well, we're reassessing the characteristics of realist politics and other theories. Now we have to reshape this because we've basically effectively lost 4 years. It was a Palestinian Israeli war. Lots of people died. It's the Russian-Ukrainian war. It is insane interest rates in China. It's ambiguity around consumer markets. It's the disclusion, seemingly, of kits and BRICS. It's the disclusion of the African Union from being a part of solutions, around their own liberal economies and other issues and things like this. And so whatever you want to narrow or expand, okay, fix it. Just fix all that stuff, put it in the right place. But yeah, people are asking about, well, what can a state or any level of analysis do? So I don't know. Yeah, 1,000-year war is kind of right. For the love of money is the root of all evils, the sort of evils, and some to be aspiring to wander from faith. 1 Timothy 6:10. Wearing, but you're cool. Hey, see you, Brian Addington. Have a good night. Take care. Take care. When there's power and authority, man will find a way to manipulate it. Manly P. Hall. Oh, whoops. China's Javion. Talking to sleep. Cool. Hopefully it helps. A disciple of the Lord. I hope you're okay, homie. Hope you are okay. All right, guys. Should we close it out for tonight? Close it out for the night. Cool. Gospel of Thomas, if you want to see. Yeah, I'm gonna close it out for the night. What? Yeah. All right, everyone. Have a good night. Take care.